Are mostly sunny. It's 76 in the Circle City, a high around 88 today. Chance of a thunderstorm later on this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Indiana Governor Mike Braun giving his thoughts on possibly redrawing Indiana's voting maps.
I think if this were in reverse at the national level, not maybe the state level, there would be no hesitation. I think most of the blue states have been gerrymandered to a point where you can't do it much more.
The governor spoke to reporters at the State House Monday. There's been a call from President Trump and other Republican leaders on red states to redistrict.
I think when it comes to all of this, the climate's hot across the country. And here, whether it goes through or not, we'll see. Yes, there will be political pressure put on, and it will be cranked up.
Indiana Republicans confirmed that they have been invited to D.C. to meet with the Trump administration about the matter. Governor Braun has not confirmed, though, whether he will call a special session to address the redrawing possibility. A 50-year-old Lafayette woman is arrested for threatening the life of President Trump.
She continued to call the president a terrorist and was working to have him eliminated. She is now in custody. She will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Make no mistake about that.
That's U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro announcing the arrest of Nathalie Rose Jones. Pirro said Jones was traveling from New York to D.C., plotting to take the life of the president, making her threats to Facebook and Instagram. The U.S. Secret Service is now investigating the case. The Boone County Child Abuse and Sexual Exploitation Task Force, working together with Indiana State Police and the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force on an undercover operation, posing online as minors to try and catch people looking to meet up with children. The 5 men arrested in this operation range in age from 27 to 60. The group faced felonies of attempted child molestation and child solicitation and/or conspiracy of sexual misconduct with a minor. The average gas price in the state of Indiana today, $3.17 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, gas is $3.18. And with the Colts defensive backs taking a beating so far this preseason, the team has signed veteran quarterback Xavier Howard this week. Howard was without a team for the first few weeks of the preseason. He had previously spent 8 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. And now a check of traffic. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jared? Looking at northbound 65, crash at Edgewood Avenue. 2 left lanes closed. And traffic jam back to Stomp-11 Road. Also on the south side, westbound 465 slows before the 65 ramps over to US 31. Inbound 69 tight, 96th Street down to 82nd. Southbound 6570 slow because of construction from the north split down to Fletcher Avenue. Crash east side 46 at Arlington Avenue. And reminder, Indianapolis Road is closed from 750 south to Whitestown Parkway because of construction. That'll last a week. Traffic sponsored by Great Lakes Honda of Fishers. Honda of Fishers is now Great Lakes Honda of Fishers under new ownership. Visit them just off State Road 37 for special grand opening prices during their summer sales event. Great Lakes Honda of Fishers. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace too strict.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers and Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy, hot and humid, scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially this afternoon. A few strong storms possible. Today's high 89. Showers ending early this evening, mostly cloudy overnight, a low of 70. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, Jerry, this is your last day with us, so I'm going to give you a dealer's choice today. And your answer to this question will decide the course of our program throughout the day today. So take a moment, think it over, and choose wisely.
Okay.
All right. What sort of Rob Kendall do you want to work with today? You can go behind door number 1, which is a calm, measured, thoughtful, articulate Rob Kendall. Or you can go behind door number 2, which is an enraged, thoroughly pissed off, goal is to belittle and humiliate as many politicians as possible, Rob Kendall.
Can I offer a third option? Can I get door number 2 on steroids? Because that's what I want. Listen, I'll be back soon, but we don't know when. I need you at the top of your game today, Rob. I don't need this, Rob, that first segment seemed a little spicy yesterday. I need more than that.
All right, so you want the whole...
I want the whole thing. Let's go out with a bang.
Yeah, and we can definitely give that to you today because what the Republican Party in this state has done over the past 24 hours is gross beyond belief. And I'm not even talking about what they're doing. I'm talking about the cowardice they're showing and the cowardly and most importantly, completely dishonest way in which they are now handling this redistricting. Look, your job as an elected official is to do what's right. These people, whether they're state house members, whether they're state senate members, or certainly now, these disgusting, pathetic, gross members of the U.S. House, who in 6 hours, conveniently, all 7 members, after the Silent Suzanne treatment over, weeks, right? Within 6 hours. And you look at it in a time frame, it was like hour by hour, one of them after another was coming out. Absolutely zero way you're not going to tell me that wasn't choreographed. The conveniently, hour after hour, each one of them issuing a different statement. And we'll get to the hypocrisy of some of their statements here in just a moment. But these people, what they are showing you is that they will never do what's right. They will always do what's politically most expedient. They will always do what's easiest, and they will never fight for you. That's why you should care about what's going on right now with this redistricting. You know, reasonable people, look, I'm not sure how reasonable people can have a disagreement on this, because what they're doing is telling you your vote doesn't matter. What these people are telling you, they are now admitting it out loud, is that your vote doesn't matter. That we are rigging the process to the point where we control the outcome before a single vote is ever cast. Governance doesn't matter. Accountability to you doesn't matter. Doing right by you doesn't matter. Being honest to you doesn't matter. That's why I'm so pissed off about this. It isn't about whether Republicans get 1 more or 2 more seats. It's about the system across this country by both sides is being so rigged that no one has to be accountable for anything anymore. All we are now as voters, all we are as taxpayers, is just some funding mechanism for private political parties to further screw you and rig the game in your favor.
I mean, that's 100% spot on. And the sad thing is the hypocrisy, right? We've had Micah, we've had Braun, we've had Diego. We now have multiple members of Congress. We've had people say they're not going to redistrict. Now I'm for redistricting. At what point in time do they just tell us the truth? Because it seems like they come on this station, these airwaves, or airwaves across the country, tell voters what they want to hear, and then no, guess what? These idiots aren't going to look and see what we actually do, and then they do the opposite.
So let's talk about what happened yesterday, and let's start with the fact that some guy who lives in Arizona who
just travels to colleges for a living.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He's Micah's hero.
He is. The fact that some guy who lives in Arizona, who other than being born in a neighboring state, has nothing to do with our state can apparently bully and threaten lawmakers in Indiana into doing what he wants. Not because he gives a damn about the state of Indiana, not because he gives a damn about you, but because he wants to curry favor with the president. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk.
You could have said that any better. This is all to just pull on President Trump's tail and pull me along.
He doesn't want better government in the state of Indiana, because if he did, he'd have been speaking up during the property tax fight. If Charlie Kirk cared about the state of Indiana or what's going on here, he would have spoken up during the never-ending gas tax, or how they have made the income tax going forward basically an unreachable level to ever go down again, or how the General Assembly raised your taxes by $1 billion in this budget to pay their bills. If he actually cared about what's going on here, Charlie Kirk would have spoke up about that, but he didn't say anything because that doesn't curry favor with Trump. And so what's happening here is our cowardly, pathetic, disgusting, gross lawmakers are allowing some guy who lives in Arizona to bully and boss them around. So here's what he put out yesterday. We will support primary opponents for Republicans in the Indiana state legislature who refuse to support the team and redraw the maps. Wait a second. The team?
We are the team.
The taxpayers are the team that our elected people are supposed to serve. All taxpayers. And that means all taxpayers deserve fair and equitable representation when it comes to elections.
But is this further proof that, like, we don't matter to these people? We don't. Just vote, get me elected, and then as long as I can curry favor with whoever's in charge, that's who matters. And then 1 year before I have to run again, I'll come by, I'll shake hands and kiss babies and ask you for money, and then do what the hell I want to do again anyway.
Think about what he just set out on. Look, we're going to spend quite a bit of this hour talking about this because what is going on in this state is disgusting beyond belief. Who refused to support the team. So the elections now are about the team. Thank you. We finally said it out loud. So think about this. Indiana is, like I said, I love people on the internet, by the way. So I said Indiana is basically like a 55-45 Republican state. And somebody's like, no, technically it was 58-38. Okay, fine. We'll accept 58-38. 78% of our congressional representation is Republican. So if we had fair and equitable maps, which we don't, based on the fact that just a couple of years ago they had, because Victoria Sparks is such an unlikable lunatic, they had to alter the map to further make Marion County less competitive and make her district more Republican.
They made Andre Carson hard to beat by doing that.
It would be 6-3. If we were going off the representation of the state, Republicans would still have an advantage, but it would be 6-3 instead of 7-2.
But how many seats are we like ruining our faith in our politicians over? One? Are we talking about one additional seat?
Well, it depends on who you ask. Depends on what map.
Two additional seats? But it's not enough for like all this. The whole house of cards is falling down for what?
Yeah, and for the people who say, well, Illinois, they gerrymandered. So do we. If we're 58-38, if we accept that as the number, we've already got a gerrymandered state based on the fact that it's 7-2. We already have a gerrymandered state based on the fact that it's 70% of the House, the Indiana State House, is Republican, based on the fact that 80% of the Indiana Senate is Republican. We act like we aren't already doing what Illinois is doing. Do we have a district that's a line through the state? No. But we're already doing this. We've already told people. What I want these politicians to say is what Charlie Kirk just said. This is about the team.
Yeah.
Just at least admit out loud what you are doing. I love this. I've heard from grassroots across the country, and they want elected Republicans to stand up and fight for them. It's time for Republicans to be tough. Don't let California steal the 2026 House from us. California is responding to Texas.
Right. Nobody's even looking at Indiana. I don't know why this is a thing here.
California is canceling out Texas. And
do you think all other states are under attack like this? It's very odd for Indiana to even be part of this conversation.
Because they know these people always fold. It's targeted bullying. It's a total indictment of our elected people. So let's take a break and let's talk about what some of our elected people did yesterday. because there is one, well, there are multiple people, but there is one guy above the rest who came on this show just last week.
It's a damn shame, too. It's a damn shame he's the one. It's a damn shame.
It is. And this is why...
he was one of my top 2 that I liked, and now, game over, bub.
He lied to 50,000 people, and the guy has been campaigning for a week, and he's already started lying. And if he will lie to you about something as blatant as this without any remorse or regard whatsoever, how can you possibly think he would ever represent you or your interest in Washington? We'll play you the audio when we come back. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
From red carpets to red states, actor Nick Searcy has seen it all. He starred in the FX TV show Justified and movies like The Fugitive and Castaway. But what he saw in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. changed everything. He'll join Tony Katz for one night of unfiltered stories, sharp insight, and a little bourbon on the side. From Hollywood to the heartland. Saturday, August 23rd at West Fork Whiskey Company. Brought to you by Premier Arms and Boer Remodeling. Tickets on sale now at WIBC.com.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Lights, 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 yeah.
All right, we got to talk about this asshat liar, Craig Haggard. How about we do that? It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Jerry's here. For the record, if you had chosen, Jerry, in segment 1, a measured, calm approach, I would have done that today.
There was zero chance I was asking for that, Rob.
Okay, well, I just wanted, if anybody gets mad
Listen, I
about...
need you to pump it up just a little bit more, actually. Turn it up. Turn it up. Don't be scared. Come on.
So we're going to spend a lot of this hour talking, because it's just like this is so disgusting, and it's so important what these people are doing, because they're putting it on full display for you. And I come back to, when it came time to call a special session to help you with property taxes, the signature issue in this state last election, the signature issue of the General Assembly, and the signature issue of the governor, they told you to kick rocks and get lost. But when it comes to picking up one congressional seat, they'll move heaven and earth to do that. So you the taxpayer, now Braun says it's $150,000. I think it's going to be much more expensive than that. But let's just go with that number. You, the taxpayer, are going to spend $150,000 of public money, your money, to facilitate a function that exclusively benefits the Republican Party. That's it. You're going to spend. We were told there was no money to fund our budget without raising taxes by $1 billion. We were told there's no money to fund the roads without the never-ending gas tax. We're told there's no money to help you with property taxes, but they got $150,000 laying around. And the sole purpose of that will be, and it'll be more than that, but we'll just take Braun's number of $150,000. The sole premise of that is a function of helping the Republican Party. Now, let's talk about Craig Haggard for a second, because this guy won't be able to get elected dog catcher by the time I'm done with him. And as we said to start the show, it's the deceitful, dishonest behavior. It's not even the things that these people do. Why did Micah and I go sideways? Because of the deceitful, dishonest, repetitive lying. And we get this from almost all of these people.
And you keep receipts.
And they will not tell you the truth.
Yep.
All they have to do, because they don't want to own what they are. They know how the people actually feel about what they're doing. Nothing, and I mean nothing, enrages me more than these people who lie. Because when you don't have trust, when you can't have an honest conversation with your politician, you can waste all the time in the world with these people. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a colossal waste of your time. You can't get to a point where you can have a public policy discussion, because even when you agree on something, if someone just turns around and does the opposite, you have nothing. Last week, Craig Haggard, who is a state rep from Mooresville, he represents part of Morgan County, I think Johnson County, Hendricks County. He's running for Congress now against Jim Baird in the 4th Congressional District, which is the western part of the state. That's where I live. He came on this program. We asked him directly after he declared his run for Congress. It was actually a week ago today that he declared his run for Congress. And on Wednesday, so 6 days ago, we asked him about redistricting. Here's what he said.
And I know the leadership talked to us and said, hey, we want you to do a deep dive. Talk to your fellow legislators. Talk to your constituents. And I've reached out to a tremendous amount of folks have reached out to me. We've talked on the phone with each other as far as other House members. And, I look at Indiana, and we have 7 out of 9 seats. We voted for Trump the last 3 times. Representative Stierwald, who carried the bill that redistrict a few years back, did it with such care that I think we were one of the few states that didn't get sued. I think we're really good.
Jerry.
No changes needed. That's what I got from that. We got 7 out of 9. They were very cautious last time. I think we're good.
It is already an overrepresentation. Republicans are already overrepresented in our state. Yeah. The districts, just like Illinois, are already gerrymandered in favor of the Republicans. Okay, fine. It happens everywhere. But as he said, not only did he said the maps are good, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Here's what he said yesterday on Twitter. Hoosiers for Haggard is the account. Commitment to preserving the U.S. as the leader of the free world requires unselfish actions and sometimes sacrifice. We must put aside personal political interests and support mid-decade redistricting in order to ensure Republicans are in the strongest position to govern. Now, take away the fact that that is in direct contrast of what he told our listeners on our show last week. Nothing's changed. No facts on the ground have changed. It's not like they found out that Indiana got a bunch of population. Nothing. Listen to this sentence. Commitment to preserving the U.S. as the leader of the free world requires unselfish actions and sometimes sacrifice. I agree. You know what unselfish actions are? Standing up and saying, the maps are fair.
That's sacrifice, too. Yeah. Sacrifice my political gain to stand up for what I think is right. And that's not happening.
But then he says we must put aside personal political interests, but then talks about selfish actions and personal political interest in being for this mid-decade redistricting.
Well, isn't personal political interest why you would flip-flop? That is why you'd flip-flop. I'm against it. Rob goes, Jerry, if you want my support, you're going to never mind, let's redistrict. That's personal political interest.
Sure. I thought Craig Haggard was a big, tough Marine. I thought he was a big, tough guy. He got bullied by Charlie Kirk.
It's sad because he was my 1B. Ireland and Haggard were my 1A, 1B. And now to see this happen and go, wow, in 6 days, dude.
And I hate this because he is one of the two guys that
this
spoke
sucks.
at the property tax
this
rally.
This sucks. But all the guys that spoke at the property tax rally lied to us, except for one.
So now when you see Craig Haggard out and you hear the big, tough military guy's speech, you point at him and laugh and you go, you got bullied by Charlie Kirk. You're not going to fight for anybody but yourself. You're afraid of Charlie Kirk. What a gutless, pathetic coward you are, Craig Haggard. And by the way, not that the guy he's running against is any better.
Right.
Jim Baird is a pathetic, sniveling butt sniffer, too. So I guess I don't get to vote in this race. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we have Mr. Election Integrity has weighed in. We have Hypocrisy audio from Jefferson Stream. Look, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but this is so important, and you need to have the truth. And the only place you're going to get the truth, somebody who's not afraid of these people, who's somebody who doesn't care if they like us or not, is right here. So that when you go out into the world, you have the information to be informed. Now, what you do with it, that's up to you. You know who's always big and bold and always delivering the truth? Jarrett Lewis and the news. That's up next. He'd never lie to us. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Christine said, I highly recommend this company. They did my garage floor and I absolutely love it. I'm planning on having them do my patio in the spring. Don't wait. Call them today, 317-751-9070. That's the number for Galaxy Concrete Coating. They can turn any concrete surface into a much better space. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 317-751-9070.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trump talking more on Russia and Ukraine this morning. Partly cloudy, 77 in Indianapolis. The high today, 88. And Jarrett Lewis sits now 9:30. President Trump hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and several European leaders at the White House Monday as pressure mounts for Russian President Vladimir Putin to reach a deal to end the war with Ukraine. President Trump is now urging Ukraine to cede Crimea and drop its aspirations to join NATO in order to reach a deal, he explained on Fox and Friends.
They're not going to be a part of NATO, but we've got the European nations, and they'll front-load it, and they'll have some of them, France and Germany, a couple of them, UK. They want to have, boots on the ground. Not in. I don't think it's going to be a problem, to be honest with you.
Russia has long been opposed to Ukraine becoming a NATO member. The State Department is revoking thousands of student visas.
200 to 300 of the 6,000 revoked visas were for allegations of supporting terrorism. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirming the hardline approach towards student visas is part of a wider immigration crackdown by the Trump administration. About 800 visas were revoked for assault-related arrest or charges and more for overstays. The Trump administration argues the move protects campuses from anti-Semitic attacks on students, while critics say it's a violation of due process. The administration has so far this year revoked nearly 40,000 visas.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz reporting. And a federal judge in Florida is dismissing part of a lawsuit filed by the ACLU against the U.S. government over the use of the migrant detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up nearly 100 points, 96 right now, 44,911. The S&P 500 is down 7 points to 6,449. And the NASDAQ is in the red, 55 points to 23,713. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay,
Ooh,
deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Mark Dietl is the only local real estate agent I'd trust to sell my house here in Indy. By the way, Zillow ranking Indy number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Mark Dietl and his team helped Sarah in Fountain Square out. She invested in a property, ran into some financial trouble, and needed to sell the place for max dollars. She hired the Mark Dietl team, and they were able to sell her property within weeks for over list price. Nice work from Team Dietl.
Mark Dietl is the best in the business, and he has the guarantee that backs it up. He guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price or deadline, or he will buy it. You pick the move date, no long-term contracts. That's what separates Mark Dietl. 755-4232, or go to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Grifters R Us has weighed in on the rigging of the Indiana election maps. We'll read his statement here in just a moment. But first, by the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Jerry's here. Kev is here. We're spending a lot of time on this hour because this is the issue. And it's not just the issue itself, but what our elected people are telling you about themselves. And it is a microcosm of why this country is in the shape it is in. Look, first of all, I don't care about Republican representation because what do I get with Republican representation? See, this is why our show is so hated by the politicians, because we have the freedom to tell you the truth. Because we don't like these people. We don't want to be around these people. We don't care if we get invited to their stuff, and we don't care if they're on our show. We have the freedom to tell you the truth, and they hate that because they need to be in control of the narrative, and they lose control of the narrative on this show. And what these politicians are doing right now, as they are folding like accordions, like we told you they would, gutless, pathetic liars like Craig Haggard, what they're showing you is how they govern on everything. This is why I'm so mad about this. First of all, I don't get anything out of Republican governance anyway, other than higher taxes, more spending, more debt for my kid to pay off. Like, I don't have any invested interest in Republicans getting another congressional seat because I know what they are. I see it every time they get power, both in this state and across this country. Now, are the Democrats equally bad or worse? Of course. It's not like I'm cheering for the Democrats. But I have the ability, Jerry has the ability, although I don't know, you kind of like going to these things.
I used to. You make it really hard for me to show my face. I'm not going to lie. Look, we're friends, and sometimes that is held against me when I go to some of these crowds. Like, I've gotten less invites the more I've been here. I promise you. That's a fact.
But it's important you know, because this is how these people are governing on everything. First of all, it's the dishonesty. It's the hypocrisy of these people. I want to play you, because Jefferson Shreve was one of the last people, of course he was, to come out in favor of this. And I want to read you his statement that he put out. Jefferson Shreve, congressman, he represents the eastern part of the state. He bought that seat from Greg Pence. And don't kid yourself. Jefferson Shreve's run for the mayor of Indianapolis. You and I were talking about this before we went on air.
I talk about failing upwards.
The reason he ran such a pathetically weak campaign is he didn't want to be mayor of Indianapolis. He was laying the foundation. He was using whatever it was, $16 million to get an early start on his run for Congress. Oh. That's what he was doing. All that money, because if you look at how Shreve won that district, he cleaned up in the city of Indianapolis, which is the portion of that district. That's how he won. He didn't win 50% of the vote. He didn't run away with it. He won by the hair on his you-know-whats because he was able to clean up in the city of Indianapolis, which is what spending 16... Look at the campaign he ran for mayor.
Yeah.
He didn't run like a guy who wanted to win or be mayor. When he was on the debate stage, and Phil Sanchez from Wish TV, the most beautiful man in all of
That's my guy.
Indiana television.
Yeah. His son's a baseball stud.
Yes, Phil lives a perfect life, the life we all desire to live. Phil Sanchez was one of the few members of our media who actually asked the most pertinent question of that race, which is where Joe Hogsett was during the riots. And Hogsett gave some mumbling, stumbling, incoherent, full of crap answer. And you know what Shreve did? He spent more time talking about the animal shelter than he did where Joe Hogsett was during the riots. He didn't want to be mayor. He was laying the foundation to buy a congressional seat, which he did.
I mean, the moment that he got the nomination or whatever, he dropped some anti-two-way stuff, like the next day.
Of course, because that's who he is. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a loser.
He's a congressman.
Yeah, he's a congressman. Look, if your whole goal in life is to be a congressman, I mean, what a weird existence. I mean, it really does show you, whether it's Haggard or Shreve, how pathetic these people actually are. That they need these positions so bad. That they will compromise everything. Like, as a man, as a person, I can't imagine looking thousands of people in the eye and lying to them. I can't imagine needing anything that bad. But yet these politicians all do it. Almost every single one of them. They're so pathetic as humans that they need these positions of power because it gives their pathetic, worthless lives meaning. That they will do it. Here's what Shreve said yesterday. I support the president's call to counterbalance radical blue state governors like Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker, who've long manipulated districts in California and Illinois. Their gerrymandering efforts undercut fair representation. Hoosiers can help turn this tide. Now, okay, Mr. Billy Badass, I wish you'd have been that tough with Joe Hogsett. I wish you'd have been that tough on radical left mayor in the city you ran to be mayor of. But Shreve now trying to present himself as some sort of radical right super fan or Republican Party or Donald Trump super player or Donald Trump super fan. Our old pal Indy Reporter, everybody should follow the Indy Reporter account at Indy_Reporter_ on Twitter, went back in the archives and found this when Shreve was running for mayor.
Mr. Shreve, 2 quick yes or no questions. First one, did Joe Biden win the 2020 election fair and square?
He won it fair and square.
If Donald Trump becomes the GOP nominee, does he have your vote?
No.
So he wouldn't vote for or support Trump, but now we're led to believe he's such a Trump fan because this is the only reason they're doing this. You know Jefferson Shreve doesn't want anything to do with this. He wants absolutely zip, zilch, zero to do with this. But now we're led to believe that a guy who just a couple of years ago said he wouldn't even vote for Trump is such a team player and such a Trump fan that he supports altering the maps. He supports changing how people vote in the state because he's such a team player. These are your elected people. And again, you can do a little happy dance today because you're going to get one more Republican in Congress. By the way, what has that done for you the past 25 years? Other than get you more spending, more debt, more crony capitalism.
Toll roads. Sin tax, gas tax.
You can do a happy day. It amazes me the people who twist themselves in the mental pretzel to be for this despite getting nothing from these Republicans at a state or federal level. But they're telling you how they govern. They're telling you that principle doesn't exist anymore. Ideology or deeply held beliefs don't exist anymore. That we always just give in to the mob. That we always just give in to who's bullying us. That we always just give in to some guy in Arizona who knows nothing about our state. They're telling you that's who they are as humans. They're telling you that that is how it works at 200 West Washington Street, and that's how it works in our nation's capital. That's why you need to care about this. That's why you need to be angry about this. You've got to get past this idea of team sport. You've got to get past this idea that you're somehow winning if you get one more Republican, or we'll show Gavin Newsom. You'll show him what? You'll show him what? What these people are doing is showing you that they don't give a damn about you at all, and that they will screw you over and over and over again for special interest and the path of least resistance. All right, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the biggest hypocrite of them all? It's old grifters are us. The Secretary of State, Diego Morales, he finally issued a statement on this, because he's in charge of elections in our state. And we will read it for you when we come back. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show. Jeff Boggs, former Letterman writer, will join us in studio, and he's going to help us give away tickets to see Luke Bryan in concert. Let's go.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace too strict.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Most insurance accepted.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel all this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan with George Burge, Owen Rigling, Randall King, and DJ Rock Thursday, August 28th at Ruoff Music Center.
Country girl, shake it for me, girl.
Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the biggest hypocrite of them all? It's Grifters Are Us, the Secretary of State, Diego Morales. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Jerry's in for Casey. We've spent the hour, and this is your fault, Jerry. I was going to do the measured approach, but you told me to start the program you wanted a whole hour of off the rails about this voting.
You're wrong. You're wrong. I said I wanted 3 hours of off the rails.
Well, Greg Ballard's going to join us next. I can't really do off the rails with Greg Ballard, where we're talking about Republicans.
We'll give it a break.
You know, but we will. Your regularly scheduled programming will return. Okay, so yesterday we had pointed out, oddly quiet in all of this was Diego Morales, the Secretary of State.
I mean, I came and I said, did you see he put out a statement? And people say they don't listen. He hasn't put out a statement at all. Yesterday you call him out. Within 12 hours, there's a statement.
Now, he is in charge of elections in this state. And we always hear about election integrity from him, and we hear about how the fake WIBC is not talking about election integrity, or how he's administering free and fair elections. Here, according to Congress.gov, is the things that are supposed to be considered when you draw a congressional map, the things that legally have to be considered. Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you ready? Here we go. Equal population, Voting Rights Act compliance, contiguity, compactness, respect for communities, respect for political subdivision. Those are the big ones. And most importantly of all, avoiding racial gerrymandering. Those are the 7 things that are most considered when you draw these election maps. Okay, again, equal population, Voting Rights Act compliance, contiguity, compactness, respect for communities of interest, respect for political subdivisions, avoid racial gerrymandering. That's what it is. We're supposed to be doing things by the law and by our Constitution when we draw these congressional maps. Here's part of the statement from Grifters Are Us. Diego Morales, the Indiana Secretary of State, who's supposed to be in charge of fair elections. That trust includes responsibility to draw congressional maps that reflect the will of the voters, maps that will send a delegation to Washington committed to advancing President Trump's America First agenda.
Does not sound like what he said before.
So the Secretary of State, who is in charge of administering free and fair elections, Mr. Election
For
Integrity.
all Hoosiers, Democrats, Independents, Libertarians, Conservatives alike, all of us.
Just told you out loud.
I'm on this team.
That he is committed to advancing President Trump's America First agenda. That's what he views elections as. Not ensuring equal protection, not ensuring Voting Rights Act compliance, contiguity, compactness, respect for communities of interest, respect for political subdivisions, or avoiding racial gerrymandering. Not those things. The guy who's in charge of elections is telling you the only thing that matters to him is promoting Donald Trump's agenda. This is why people don't vote. This is why our voting percentage in the state is abhorrent. It's why people don't participate in their government, because they see statements like that from the guy who is supposed to be the ultimate umpire, whose job is to simply call balls and strikes and make sure the game is fair. And he's telling you that he is not only is the game rigged, he wants to help rig the game.
Yeah. Well, listen, the fact that are you ready for this, Kev? He has walk-up music. Did you know that Diego has walk-up music?
He does?
Yeah. Listen. Watch what this is going to sound like. Because this is, you go up to bat, and he's part of the team, and he's just walking up to the plate.
Yeah.
Up next.
Like Derek Jeter.
Indiana Secretary of State, Diego Morales. Dirty Diego, oh. Dirty Diego, oh. Dirty Diego, oh. Thanks, Kev. He has walk-up music. First politician with walk-up music in our state house.
So is that what we're going to demand, is anytime he goes to speak somewhere?
We'll just bump it when he walks up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see him. Let him know he has a theme song.
And look, we love you enough to tell you the truth here. And if people want to be mad at us, want to be mad at me, look, Jerry's guilty by association because he's here.
Damn guilty by association.
That's fine.
For you.
Well, I don't care.
But I get it. You're the wizard. You've pulled back the curtain. You've ruined my life.
We love you enough to tell you the truth. And what is happening in our state and the cowardice that these people are showing. And then when you have things like the Secretary of State, whose whole position is not to be an advocate for anything other than may the elections be fair and the results be accurate and the winner wins and then the winner governs. If Republicans are doing such a good job running our state, they shouldn't need to change the maps. If the Republicans are doing such a good job in Washington, D.C., they shouldn't need to change the maps. The reality is they're changing the maps in these states because the American people are not supportive of the governance of Republicans. The spending, the crony capitalism, all of these things that they're doing are not enticing people to vote Republican. So their response is, we will make the elections less honest. Nobody should be excited about that. All right, Greg Ballard, former mayor of Indianapolis, going to join us. He's got a new book out, one of the last Republicans to be elected in a major metropolitan city. We'll talk about how he did it, what needs to happen to bring Republicans back to Indy. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. You know, you're getting screwed left and right by these politicians, but one group that's not screwing you, our friends at Universal Windows Direct. Listen to this incredible deal going on right now. If you've been on the fence about whether to upgrade your windows, winter's going to be here before you know it. You want to stay warm in your home all winter long? Now would be a great time to strike. First of all, with Universal Windows Direct, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. So if you got 8 windows that need replacing, you're only going to pay for 4. It's that simple. Then, on top of that, and this is the part I really love, you'll get no interest for 5 whole years, 60 months of zero interest financing, which makes upgrading your home not just smart, but affordable too. So buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and 60 months of zero interest financing. Now, some restrictions may apply, so to get all the details and schedule a totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today, 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com, universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Summer's not over yet. Shouldn't you be out on the water? Today is the day to get the boat you've been dreaming of. It's the 2025 Model Year Blowout Sale going on now only at Just Add Water Boats. Save big on 2025 boats and wave runners from in-stock brands like Yamaha, Chaparral, Hurricane, Godfrey, Crest Pontoons, and more. Don't wait another year to get out on the water. Start making waves today at the 2025 Model Year Blowout Sale going on now at Just Add Water Boats. See the inventory now at justaddwaterboats.com.
Guys, are you always tired and ready to do something about getting your energy back, but you don't have time? Now, Synergen X and Low T Center have the solution. New at-home TRT.
Personalized to you and delivered straight to your door. Affordable treatment options at fixmylowt.com.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, the governor of Indiana commenting on redistricting again and what an Indiana woman did to get charged with federal crimes, plus new budget numbers coming from Indigo. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Time for Fox News. It's 10 o'clock.
The whole thing is a mess. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump says about the war in Ukraine he's trying to stop.
I hope President Putin is going to be good. And if he's not, it's going to be a rough situation.
Telling Fox and Friends this morning he's trying to get Russia's leader to meet with Ukraine's leader one-on-one.
I hope that President Zelensky will do what he has to do. He has to show some flexibility also.
The day after a meeting with Zelensky that was not contentious this time, joined by European leaders at the White House, discussing a security guarantee for Ukraine to help enforce a peace agreement with Russia.
Did you see what's happening with the restaurants? They're bursting. They were all closing and going bankrupt.
That's President Trump also talking about the situation in Washington, D.C., referencing his crime crackdown, saying he's made progress in just a week, claiming people feel safer to go out. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi just announced in a post on X another 52 arrests last night. There are more than 400 since the president federalized D.C. police and called in the National Guard troops. 6 Republican-led states also sending soldiers in, while city leaders push back, saying violent crime numbers are down. There will be be fewer foreign students in the U.S. this fall, not letting them back in.
200 to 300 of the 6,000 revoked visas were for allegations of supporting terrorism. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirming the hardline approach towards student visas is part of a wider immigration crackdown by the Trump administration. About 800 visas were revoked for assault-related arrest or charges and more for overstays.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. There is a storm surge watch up for North Carolina's Outer Banks, where mandatory evacuations in place, fearing Hurricane Aaron's surf and flooding, even though the storm is forecast to turn away from the coast, not hit the U.S. directly. There are also concerns about rip currents making for dangerous swimming conditions, closing beaches along the East Coast ahead of Aaron's track. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
The governor's thought process on redistricting. Mostly cloudy, 79 in downtown Indy. The high around 88 today. Thunderstorms possible later on this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's 10:02. This report is brought to you by Gutter Helmet. Indiana is part of a group of states mentioned in recent weeks as potential places for redrawing their congressional maps.
I think that cost is estimated to be around maybe $150,000, give or take. I think here you'd have to make sure that most legislators want to do it.
Governor Mike Braun speaking to reporters at the State House Monday. He's pondered calling a special session to address possible redistricting. Indiana Republican leaders also said they've received an invitation to meet with the Trump team to talk about it. According to U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, a woman named Natalia Rose Jones from Lafayette, Indiana, has been charged with 2 federal crimes for knowingly and willfully threatening to take the life of the President of the United States.
She did come from New York to Washington, D.C., and she has been threatening and calling for the removal of the president, and even worse, as she got to D.C., her threats were on Facebook and Instagram.
Pirro announced the charges in a video posted to social media Monday. The U.S. Secret Service is now investigating the case. Indigo is unveiling a new budget for Blue Line construction. Johnette Cruz has that story.
Indigo is proposing a nearly $1 fare increase as part of their 2026 budget. A proposed budget of $432 million, which is $90 more million than last year's, includes raising the price of a single ride from $175 to $275. The budget will also be used to purchase 28 new buses and hire 4 transit security officers. The budget will be presented on September 17th and on September 22nd, with opportunities for public comment at both meetings. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana Fever guard Kelsey Mitchell with a dominant second half for the Indiana Fever against Connecticut Sunday. She spoke about her team's resilience despite all the injuries that have been happening recently.
I really think that that's the most resilient that we've ever been because of everything we've been through. So I think a lot of it you just tap into your team and you just love on your team. And I think, great things can happen.
No word yet on how severe Sophie Cunningham's knee injury is. They face Minnesota on Friday. Caitlin Clark also likely to miss that game. And in the race for the National League Central, the Brewers keep moving away from the Cubs after they beat Chicago 7-0 Monday, and the Reds picked up a road win over the Angels 4-1. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and at WIBC.com. Kendall Casey back in 1 minute.
Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. Are you still putting screens on your gutters? If the holes are too big, debris gets in and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top and now you're cleaning the screens. I have Gutter Helmet on my home and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. Right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 17% discount plus 12 months, no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Call 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, to schedule a free estimate. 17% off, restrictions apply, and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET. That's 800-5HELMET or gutterhelmetindy.com and never clean your gutters again.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers and Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
He was the last Republican to run the city of Indianapolis, and now he has a book talking all about it. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. Joined in studio. He spent 2 terms as the mayor of the city of Indianapolis. The great Greg Ballard. Mr. Mayor, hello.
Rob, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so you have a new book out, and it's called Urban Republican Mayor, My Story. Now, we're going to do a little deep dive on the book, but one of the things that's fascinating about the book, and we're just talking about this off air, is the role that you give WIBC, Greg Garrison in particular, credit to for you becoming the mayor of the city of Indianapolis.
He was absolutely critical when no one was paying attention to me in 2007. He kept having me on his show, which is a massive audience, as something you're familiar with.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna record that, and I'm gonna start using that in a promo.
So and since my opponent wouldn't come on, I kind of had free reign to come in, and he really helped me. And I was, as you can read in the book, I was a little naive, a little unpolished, and that's okay. But he helped me through those times, helped me through the radio, certainly.
So many longtime Hoosiers will know the story of you, but it's an incredible story. You were elected mayor of the city of Indianapolis 2007, and you were just sort of the guy who raised your hand and said, okay, I'll draw the short straw this cycle and I'll run. And you were this just kind of obscure military guy, and then you shocked the world and became the mayor. Do you remember election night where you're like, oh crap, I won? Like what was it like when the final votes were tallied?
Actually, I was not shocked, and I remember the journey so well, and I'm so glad that I got it down before my memory goes right. So I'm glad I got it down in print, but. No, I would have been shocked if I'd lost that night.
Really?
Oh yeah, the last 2 weeks I thought it was mine.
That is interesting. What turned the tide? Because there's usually a moment. Any person who runs and wins, there's kind of a moment where like, okay, as long as I turn out, I'm gonna do this. What was that moment for you?
I don't know that there was that moment because we had no polling numbers. We didn't have any money.
You had no money.
You got to remember, my opponent had $4 million, and at most. And this was just in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. I had 200,000, but with a month to go, I had like less than 50,000.
Yeah.
And I've been working hard trying to raise money, but it was not going to happen. So I had to have an alternate strategy. But the last 2 weeks, I was pretty confident. I told somebody you probably know 4 days before the election, you're going to be the first call after the election. And he said he'd be honored to take it because I was really confident at that point and I'm not exaggerating this, I had over 100 Democrats whisper in my ear or tell me silently because they couldn't say it publicly. And they said it just like this. I've never voted for a Republican in my life, and I'm voting for you.
Was the property tax thing the issue?
That was the entry point. That was not the final point. It got me a little bit of recognition. Didn't really, because it's really a kind of a state issue. However, 4 years previous to that, that was a bit of an issue. And not a lot was done about it at that time. So when it came up again and they had the tea parties and property tax bills being thrown in the White River and all that, I was there when that, when that happened.
You'd have been a moron not to be.
I wanted all the visibility I could get because I was getting no visibility at all. So, but then when they raised the income taxes 65% in August, 3 months before the election, on top of the property tax fiasco that was going on all summer long.
When that happened, there's a Lopez, you'll appreciate this. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey today. Remember in the scene in Animal House where the Playboy, where the girl like falls through the guy's window, the kid's window while he's reading the Playboy, and he just looks up and goes, "Thank you, God." when they raised the income taxes, was that you? Did you go, "Thank you"?
No, but again, I'm not sure that was quite it. It certainly those two on top of each other got to what I think might have been a culminating point in the military terms. Budget night. The city county council president locked the doors. So people were angry. Right. They wanted to get in and say their thing. I actually got into the council session. I mean, I was there. I got there early enough and I got in there. Then they overflowed into the
ticket or what?
No, they overflowed into the halls, and then it was. You remember, it was 95 degrees out, hot and humid August. They locked the people. That door's never locked, but it was locked that night. And that became a real issue because the press, they were covering, some press were covering inside, lots of press were covering outside, that the people were locked out of the people's building.
So as you being the last Republican mayor of the city, and the way that it's looking, Republicans have an uphill fight to ever try to win the city back. What can we do better to give us a fighting chance here in a city that you really helped and won 2 elections in, which is unheard of these days?
Well, that's a great point. It was a Democratic city when I won too.
Right.
You must remember that. They say it's more Democratic now. Okay, that's true. But it's tough to say this, but the rhetoric at the federal level and what's happening at the federal level hurts Republicans in cities. It just does. And there are 2 out of the top 25 cities in America that are run by Democrats, and they're in the South, and they're largely Republican cities as opposed to Democratic cities. Try to find a Republican in a Democratic city right now, and I think you're going to come up blank. So that didn't used to be that way.
So you think it makes it harder for guys like you, because let's face it, you do to some level have to run a middle-ish type of campaign. It's a nuts and bolts campaign. It's roads, it's bridges, it's snow removal, it's public safety. But you think that the federal rhetoric hurts the ability to do that?
I do, and you can run the middle ground, and which is okay. I'm not sure that's going to necessarily get you there. There has to be some. I was lucky. I'm very open. I was the 1,000,000 to 1 shot, and it happened to me.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it was, and I got that. But I took advantage of it. I didn't make the big mistake going into it. But going back to the rhetoric is, cities are built differently than suburbs and rural areas. There are lots of different minorities, a lot of ethnicities in there, and sometimes, frankly, what we say as we're trying to get elected in other areas, that filters down. And when it comes down to the cities, then that doesn't play well, and people have trouble voting that way.
Greg Ballard is our guest. He's the former 2-term mayor of Indianapolis. His new book out, Urban Republican Mayor, My Story. All right, so how would you have handled the riots of 2020? Because I think that's sort of the signature issue of, like, if Hogsett's administration the past 10 years was sort of an event, and you were so much better on public safety, right? Like, you look at the numbers, they're not even close.
That's right.
How would you have handled that period of time?
I got to be careful in how I say this.
No, you don't. You come to the Kendall and Casey show. You're at the wrong show if you want to be careful.
Let's go back to Rodney King in '92. Steve Goldsmith.
Yeah.
Bart Peterson had his. I had Ferguson. Riots in cities are all across the nation, not in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's right.
Not in Indianapolis in any of those instances.
And I think that's why people were shocked that it happened here, not one night, but 2.
So I'm suggesting to you they wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they would have.
Because there are elements in place. If you do the right things, there are elements in place where you can let people have their say, let them, what we did on Ferguson and Goldsmith did differently. And you can just let them have, you can do it in another way so that it doesn't get like that.
How did you keep, like, I remember towards the end of your second term, because people, like, not only did you win, you got reelected.
I did.
In a blue city. How did you, because I remember there was
and my numbers were in the 70s.
Wow.
Heading into a third term.
Yeah, you screwed the city by not running again. I hope you're happy, pal. Hey, by the way, I told the mayor, I said, by the time you get done with this interview today, my goal is that you're going to call our friend Mark Deedle, sell that nice house you got in Whitestown, and move back to the city to run for a third term. Was there a reason well, I want to ask you about the violence, because I remember towards the end of your second term, there was numbers were over 100, and we were like, oh my gosh, these numbers are getting so high. We would give an extremity to go back to those numbers you had in terms of homicides in your administration.
Well, that's, as I describe in the book, I think pretty well. The numbers were in the 115 to 130 range when I took office. By 2009, they were in the 90s. 4 straight years. You can go back 30, 40 years, you'll only find 4 years in the 90s, and they were mine in a row. Then the council changed what we were doing because the council leadership changed. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do at the level it was. And then
why? Did they ever tell you why? Well, they just didn't like that there were fewer people getting murdered? What?
Well,
you're doing
I'm
too good of a job.
I'm sure they didn't see it like that. But they did. What we call the crime prevention money started going different places.
Yeah.
And I think that had a major effect on what was happening. That said, we kind of had a little bit of rough years, not in the 200s or anything like that. I mean, just over 100. And then by 15, actually, with Troy Riggs, we kind of had it back. And you may not remember this. I remember all of this clearly. But through the end of May in 2015, we had like 41, 42 murders, which is on an annual basis pretty low. And because I remember this specifically, and I hope nobody from Baltimore is listening, but I mean, we had as many murders through May as Baltimore had in May.
Yeah, well, it's like this, and this will shock you, Mr. Mayor. I used to really like to drink, and coming downtown was one of my favorite places. I can remember this was 15. You were still mayor. I can remember walking like from Mass Ave all the way back to downtown. Right. I would never do that today, and you didn't even think about it at 3 a.m. Just walking through the greater downtown area.
I remember weekends we just drive around the circle, listening to music, and nobody would get shot. Right? So like, how would you hit? One of the big things now is the youth that are out, and you're just curfews, and what are we going to do, and the fines, and the what kind of approach can a mayor have to that? Because it's hard for me to want to have the police be babysitters.
There's lots of things we did differently, and it's very well. I don't know if you read the public safety chapter yet, got there yet or not, but it's very detailed on what we did, and it was very specific. And I would suggest that looking at that would make a difference. I think
just buy my book and read it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's kind of right there.
Great plug.
Great plug. I know that's really good. But I always thought it was important to have somebody in charge of public safety. We have a parks director, we have a D&D director, but the most important one, we don't have a public safety director, and I thought that was absolutely critical. And to have somebody not political at all, somebody who's going to come in and do a really, really good job, because they do different things. Listen, the police chief right now is a great guy. I know Chris was a lieutenant when I was the mayor. He was a terrific guy. Still is. But he's got an organization to run, and he has law enforcement. Law enforcement's one element of public safety. It's not the only element of public safety. So somebody has to put all those other pieces together so that it works together. And so I'm suggesting that that's something to be looked at. Who helps you on the street really matters also.
Okay, and without revealing too much, I want people to buy the book. Why did you decide not to run for a third term?
It was similar to when I left the Marine Corps. I left on my own terms in the Marine Corps too after 23 years. Actually, I was physically and mentally exhausted. I really was. And I would have had a year in between, I probably would have done it again, gone again.
Like Michael Jordan, if you could have just taken a year off, gone playing baseball, you would come back and be the mayor.
Something like that. But and this goes back to, my Marine days. If you can't do your duty, then you need to get out of there. And I didn't think I could be the mayor at the level that I had been the last 8 years. I didn't think I could do it for another 4 years. And I thought the citizens deserved somebody who could put their best effort in for the 4 years. I was afraid I could not.
Yeah, and I get that 100%. If you do, and I've said this quite a bit, if you do elected office right, you should be ready to get out of it.
We were everywhere. Winnie and I were everywhere. And it was very, and we had a reputation for staying until at night, and we were out 6 nights a week.
Yeah, every
week for 4 years. The first 4 years, we cut it down to like 4 or 5 nights. The second 4 years, but we were, and I'm introverted. You got to get that.
Yeah.
I'm an introverted guy, so I need to rest.
Yeah,
I tended to take a lot of Sundays off.
All right, tell us where we can get the book and make the sale. Why should people buy Urban Republican Mayor My Story?
Well, it's how I grew up, and it was kind of funny. I was joking the other day with somebody else that. My entire childhood is in 8 pages, so must not have been that dramatic. But it's a lot of time in the Marine Corps, how it related to how I became the mayor, what that effect had on me. And then there's about 200 pages of what we did in office, and then some thoughts at the end of it also about urban urban Republicans.
Well, there's so much great local stuff in there. If you're just a fan of, even if you're not a government person, if you're just a fan of Indianapolis history and local people and things, there's so many things in there that are just great that I think people would really enjoy.
There's a lot of stories in there and why we did things.
Yeah, it's great. Mr. Mayor, always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Rob, appreciate it very much.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, And Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Lynn just loves the summer in Indy, but she's not going to spend it painting. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Now you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Give your home a transformation with incredible savings at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Hey, this is Spencer Thompson, and now through Monday, it's the Smith Brothers of Bern factory authorized sale. Save 50% off every sofa, sectional, recliner, and more, made in Indiana, lifetime warranty, and you can save up to an additional 20% off your purchase. Enjoy free delivery, interest-free financing, and cash discounts. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
100 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Big news, Jerry. Somebody has won almost $10 million in the greater Columbus area, and we need to be friends with them. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. According to our news gathering partners over at Wish TV, a $9.9 million Hoosier Lotto jackpot for Saturday's drawing was won with a ticket purchased at a gas station and convenience store in Columbus. Now, my question to you, Jerry Lopez, if indeed you won $9.9 million, what would you do with it?
I think the first thing I'd do is probably set away some money for the kids, a little trust fund stuff, so if they can't really touch it.
Yeah.
Change my name and roll out, baby.
You would change your name.
Yeah.
You would not stay in the city and embrace the
No, I'd have a stage name.
Fame and power that would come with having that sort of, because, okay.
That's not that much money I mean, it sucks. That's a lot of money for me, but like that's not a lot of money by today's rich people standards.
Well, you got to take about 40% of it out for taxes, right? When you're pulling in that sort of money. Now, I don't know. We're operating with blinders on here because I don't know what the actual, there's always the payout. Do you take it over time? whatever. Let's just say if you took the payout and with taxes, let's just pick a number, right? Let's say you ended up with $4 million.
Yeah.
Maybe that's realistic. I don't know. But for the purpose of this exercise, if you ended up with $4 million, that's a lot of money, but it's not, and it is life-changing, but it's not, you're not in a generational wealth type of difference there. I mean, you could blow through $4 million pretty fast if you're not careful.
Quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, $4 million's not that much.
Let's see. I still think, even with $4 million, I would definitely have to rent the Lockmiller building so I could drop it would now be Braun Sucks, the sheet out of it, and I might rotate them. I think if I could rent the Lockmiller building, for people who don't know, it's it's an old building right in the heart of, is that Washington Street that it's on? No, it's Washington Street, right? It's on Washington Street. They're directly across the Center. Yeah, directly across from the Government Center and by the State House. And so all the politicos, for the most part, or any of the government workers basically would see this throughout the course of the day. It's a multi-story building, and I have proposed for years that if I came into a large amount of money, one of the things I would do would be to rent something on the second floor, which would get me window access. So like Kramer in the Kenny Rogers Chicken episode on Seinfeld, I could just drape giant bed sheets with sayings out of there. And I think now, for years we had said it would be Holcomb Sucks, and then I had Todd Young Sucks. There's so many of them now. You got Braun, you got Todd Young, you got Jim Banks, you got Rokita, you got Diego, you got Mike. I would just have to have a rotating set of bed sheets with a different person's name on it every single day, 7 days a week. And I think for a period of time, maybe a year or so, that's what I would do with a portion of my money. That would be a small portion. I don't think it would be that much to rent part of the second floor there to be able to pull that off.
If I hit, I'll give you money just to pull it off. I mean, you have my word on that. I want to see that.
Yeah, and then other than that, because you would have to be somewhat cognizant of $4 million, if I'm not careful, won't last me forever. I mean, you could obviously do a lot of great things with it and have a lot of fun with it, but it's not like these people who win $500 million in the lottery. Your life is being changed. You no longer have to worry about things, but you still got to be smart about it.
Yeah, it'll go quick. It'll go quick. And no, listen, we're talking about $4 million. I'm setting aside a whole lot less money now for the kids.
That's right. Look, your kid, though, Jaden is smart enough because he does the crypto that he would figure out a way to make a lot more money off of that money if you gave it to him.
Oh, that dude is chartering private jets now.
Yeah, for athletes, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, your son is going to be one of those guys that no matter what he falls into, he will come out smelling like a rose and like $1 million. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got a couple special guests. So obviously, there's a lot of talk about Epstein, human sex trafficking. And the reality is, while the Epstein stuff is totally abhorrent and we should get the truth on that, human sex trafficking is still a major problem, not just in this country, not just across the globe, but certainly right here in central Indiana. It is prevalent all over our country. It is prevalent here in our state. And there's a great group. We talk about them a lot. Their name is Project Rescue. Most people know the money that I make off the I Hate and I Love Rob Kendall t-shirts from the Hammer and Nigel store goes to Project Rescue. They've got a big event coming up. They're partnering with our friends at Life Church, and they want you to be a part of it to help stamp out human sex trafficking across the country. And it's a chance to visit the Lucas Oil Estate. We'll talk about it coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Predicting when there will be peace. Mostly cloudy, 80 on Monument Circle now. 88 is the high for today. I'm I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:30. President Trump says we could know in a few weeks if peace is possible between Russia and Ukraine. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Following meetings with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and several European leaders, plus a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump remains hopeful of a breakthrough in peace talks.
I hope President Putin is going to be good, and if he's not, it's going to be a rough situation, and I hope that President Zelensky will do what he has to do. He has to show some flexibility also.
The president speaking on Fox and Friends. President Trump says he backs a European proposal to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, but also says there will need to be territory swapped as part of a resolution.
Meanwhile, a ceasefire proposal is now on the table for Israel to review, which could end their war with Hamas. Israel said they'd have a response to that by the end of the week. Hamas has already agreed to the proposal, which includes the release of some living hostages and the return of the bodies of others. The strike at Canada's largest airline is over. Air Canada and the union representing its flight attendants comes on day 4 of the strike. About 500,000 passengers had their flights affected by it. Air Canada said wages for workers will go up 8% in the first year of the new deal. And the woman known as the ketamine queen, Jasveen Singh, has agreed to a plea deal in connection with selling the drug that led to the death of actor Matthew Perry. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Everyone knows that PA Jewelers in Brownsburg is the place to get one-of-a-kind jewelry pieces. Diamonds, gold, gemstones, watches, everything. But PA Jewelers at the farmhouse is also the place to sell your jewelry, your watches, your coins, or bullion. PA Jewelers has the best prices and the best payouts. And they walk you through the process so you know what your pieces are worth and what you're getting. PA Jewelers at the farmhouse, 3750 South Green Street in Brownsburg, or online at pajewelers.jewelry. That's pajewelers.jewelry.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friend Mark Deedle. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest market. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with our pal, Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried with the challenging market, you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dan and Casey in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Deedle. It was time to downsize, and we needed to sell our old house quickly at full value. Mark Deedle made it happen. We got our asking price in a few weeks without any repairs or an appraisal. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Don't let that summer job go again because you don't have the right tools. At Quality Supply and Tool, now through September 26th, or while supplies last, there's a huge DeWalt sale going on. Buy select 20-volt bare tools and get a free 5-amp-hour battery. That's a $100 value. Buy a DeWalt 4-in-1 or 5-in-1 Tough System modular workstation and get 2 2-drawer units free. That's more than a $200 value. Quality Supply and Tool has locations in Jeffersonville, Bloomington, West Lafayette, and South Harding Street in Indy. And Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box store.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tony Katz to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Epstein is in the news all the time, but the reality is human sex trafficking is still very real, and it's happening not just across the globe, but in this country, and yes, right here in central Indiana. And there are local folks who are trying to do something about it. And they've got a big event coming up where you can be a part of it. It is the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. And with us here in studio, pastors Nathan Peternell and Mike Melito of Life Church. And they are once again partnering with our friends at Project Rescue. Now, you know Project Rescue. I'm a big supporter of Project Rescue. That's where all the money that I make off the I Hate and I Love Rob Kendall t-shirts from the Hammer and Nigel store goes to. And Project Rescue is a phenomenal organization that helps stamp out human sex trafficking across the globe. Now, before we get into the interview today, talk about this big event. Just a reminder, Life Church, they do advertise here on WIBC. And guys, before we talk about this big event that Life Church is doing with Project Rescue, talk about why Life Church puts such an emphasis and importance on Project Rescue and stamping out human sex trafficking.
The Bible says in the book of Micah, I have shown thee, O man, what is good and what the Lord requires of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. And so when you look at what's going on in our world, Christianity should stand up and go, hey, not while I was living. I don't want it to be seen that I never did something about the wickedness in my world. And you know, Jesus talks a lot about, hey, I was sick and you comforted me. I was in the hospital, you visited me. I was in a jail, you visited me. So there's this side of our faith that requires us to get up and do something. And so there are more people today in slavery than ever in the history of the world. And so Project Rescue, which started in a foreign country across the world and in Asia, is now, they're rescuing women and children all over the world. They don't just rescue them out of it, but they totally change their lives by showing them how they can live so they never have to return to it.
Mike, let's talk about the strong footprint that Project Rescue has here in central Indiana. Most of our longtime listeners know all the money that I make off the I Hate Rob Kendall and I Love Rob Kendall t-shirts once a year. I got to get on Hammer. I think I've got a donation coming very soon. Goes there. Talk about the strong footprint that Project Rescue has here in central Indiana and why so many people are standing behind it.
Yeah, we've had a long partnership with Project Rescue. One of the reasons why I think it resonates so well here in Indiana is we know we had that issue right here in Indiana as well. And in the process...
That's important to note, that this is not something that's just going on border states or in foreign countries. It's happening right here.
It's happening right here. And when we have partnered with Project Rescue in the past, it's also produced some results for efforts here. Not Today is one of those organizations that's based here in Indianapolis that we're able to partner with alongside with partnering with Project Rescue to tackle the issue here and far. So, here in Indiana, it's just near and dear to our hearts because we understand that has an impact here as well as there.
Nathan, one of the things with human sex trafficking, because like we said, it's all Epstein, right? People, they think of some guy taking little girls and flying them to an island somewhere. Human sex trafficking happens in a variety of ways and a variety of forms. Can you talk a little bit about what Project Rescue really focuses on?
Yeah, first off, you can't just go in and tactically take all these people out of this. A lot of times, these little girls all over the world. Project Rescue's doing ministry on 4 continents to do it over I think 15 countries, 32 cities. A lot of times, what you have to do is you have to just present hope. You have to present that if you want out of this, there is a way. Now, they don't think that's possible. That's why actually Project Rescue began with people giving their children. These little girls little girls, basically, in many cases, these kids are taken as young as 9 years old. Their virginity is sold because in Hinduism, it says that if you sleep with a virgin, they can heal you of your sexually transmitted diseases. So imagine that being the first experience of a little 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl. That's where they're sold. But then they're going to live in a 6 by 6 foot little brothel. And when they finally get pregnant, their babies are going to be underneath of of the bed that they're turning tricks on, which they'll turn that trick over and over 10 times a day. And so Project Rescue, it's invisible chains that hold these people in place. They don't know, where else am I going to go? What else could I possibly do? How else can I feed my child? And so Project Rescue comes alongside and says, first off, we literally set up medical places within the brothels, and we say, just come. We'll pray for you. It starts there. And then after that, eventually they may get to a point where they go, you know what, I would like to be free. Well, you still have to take care of that person in their body. You have to take care of their soul, their mind, their will, and their emotions, and their spirit. And Project Rescue does the whole work of that to make sure that these girls will never have to go back to that old life.
Mike, Nathan hits on a good point with the human sex trafficking. It's not just we've got these girls that are hidden somewhere. It's many of these people who are adults who are found. You've got to give them a reason to leave the lifestyle.
Yeah, you've got to earn their trust, actually. And I had the privilege a couple of years ago of visiting Project Rescue in India, and they were opening a new safe house. And while I was there, I visited several of those all over the country. And one of them that I remember in particular, it was one of their first safe houses. And the gentleman and his wife who were running it leaned over to me one night and said, "We're on our third generation. These little kids are growing up with no idea of what trafficking is." And he was so pleased to say that. The next day, I was at a safe house where they were just opening, and the plan was to spend the next year earning trust enough to maybe start to help them a little bit. But they have that proven success over and over and over again, and they're committed from start to finish. And their vision is not only to rescue these young women, but that they would become leaders of their nation.
Our guests, if you're just joining us, Nathan Peternell, Mike Melito with Life Church. We're talking about Project Rescue, which is a great organization here in central Indiana that fights human sex trafficking. Of course, this is all in the news now because of Epstein. But whether Epstein's did whatever or with us or not, human sex trafficking remains very real. And Life Church, along with Project Rescue, are trying to stamp that out here in central Indiana, across the country, and across the world. All right, so Nathan, you guys have a big event. It's an annual event that you do that the public can be a part of if they're passionate about what's been going on with Epstein, if they've been learning about this and are outraged, as people should be. Right here in central Indiana, they can make a difference. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I think you start somewhere, right? Start with the people that are actually doing something, and then this is so big in the world. We have to continue adding things. So one of the things that Life Church has done is the Hope Starts Here breakfast. It's going to be on September 18th. It's a Thursday morning, and it's actually we partner with some of our awesome partners like the Lucas family, and they allow us to use their place and
the Lucas Estate.
Yes.
This event is at the Lucas Estate.
This is at the Lucas Estate.
See, that would be great for me because no one would ever let me into the Lucas Estate unless I went for an event like this.
It's a beautiful place, and we just thank them so much for their partnership because just to have them also believe in what's going on is just a great joy. But we meet there. We're actually this year going to hear from one of the young ladies whose lives was totally changed by it. She's going to be coming in. It's going to be phenomenal. And we're just, if you have a heart to see that which is evil stamped out, if you have a gift of giving, if your business is one that you're like, you know what, I want to give because I believe in giving, I know the power of giving, but I want to give to organizations that are vetted, that I know the maximum amount of every dollar is going to go to this, then Project Rescue is an easy win for you because in some ways, if your heart doesn't open to to this plague in our world. It's like, well, what really would move you? But I really believe that generosity, we saw that in our church, just a spirit of unbelievable generosity that got released. And we want people to give with us, because it's about setting people free. And I think about, we all sing that song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That was written by a slave trader whose life was changed. We're not just seeing the kids set free and the women set free. We're seeing the madams and the pimps literally come to know Jesus.
It's the Hope Starts Here Project Rescue Breakfast Fundraiser. It's Thursday, September 18th at 7:30. It's totally free to attend. You get to go to the Lucas Estate. Again, for someone like me, this will be your only opportunity to ever get in without some burly security guard excusing you from the premises. Mike, if people want to know more about this, if they're driving down the road going, this sounds great, but I need some time to process this, how can they learn more about this?
Sure, absolutely. If you're wanting to learn more, you can text the word breakfast to 317-961-8330. Even if you think you just want to go and literally learn more and find ways later to get involved, it would be awesome to have you, and you would be inspired. But there is no amount too small. If you think of it this way, it seems like an insurmountable issue, but just think about the one that gets rescued, the difference it makes for that one. And with Project Rescue, when they rescue one, it kind of snowballs, and that whole community starts to come. So you get to be a part of that. So you can text the word breakfast to 317-961-8330 to register, and it's free. You'll get more information there, and of course at the breakfast. And of course, breakfast is also free at the Lucas Estate, as you said.
That's right. So here's what we'll do. Again, the number to text, breakfast, 317-961-8330. I'm going to take a photo of this card, the promo card. I'll put it up at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, and you can see it there too. If while you're operating heavy machinery or a motor vehicle, we don't want you to be to be writing or texting while driving. So we'll put it up there as well. And guys, I just think this is such a phenomenal event. Like I said, been a big supporter of Project Rescue for a long time. And Nathan, I'll give you the last word on this. If you're mad about your government not being honest with you about Epstein, if you're mad about what's happening in this country and not getting straight answers, you can do something to make a difference. And Project Rescue and this event is a phenomenal way to start.
Yeah, and I think that Hoosiers are. Yeah, I'm not a native-born Hoosier. I'm one. I'm a transplant, but I fell in love with the people of Indiana, and I know that they are giving, loving, hardworking people, sharing, and so I just want to tell you that if that's your heart today, you can get involved, and start somewhere. Rob, you've been a long time partner with us. The LC Coffee House that we have is an awesome partnership. They're helping do something, and that's where to start. And Rob, if it's okay, could I pray over our city?
You sure can.
Yeah, thanks, man. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you so much for the Hoosiers. I thank you, God, for the heart that's in our people. I thank you for the love that drives them. And God, as they look around and they see the wickedness in the world, I pray that you would move on their heart to do something and to release the generosity that your heart showed to us, to release that onto others also. And Lord, if we can't do it to the weakest and the poorest amongst us, Lord, who would we do it to? But your word says that when we did it unto them, we did it unto you, Jesus. So God, I pray a massive blessing over our city as they get involved and they release and open their hands to bless the poor and to bless the broken and see them brought back. We're all a great redemption story. Lord, you found us at our weakest and you brought us and gave us great strength. We give you honor and glory. Bless the people of Indianapolis. Bless the businesses of Indianapolis. A mighty blessing we ask that you would pour out on everything they touch in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Yeah, again, the phone number, 317-961-8330. We'll post the card up at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. Mike Melito, Nathan Peternell of Life Church, thank you for doing what you do for Project Rescue and helping fight human sex trafficking.
Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the redistricting madness and why it might not be so mad, and the Kentucky driver's license scandal that's going to drive you nuts. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
Today.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
At Busey, banking is about more than numbers. It's about relationships. For over 150 years, we've been helping individuals, families, and businesses reach their goals with personalized service and local decision-making. Whether you're opening your first account or planning your next big move, we're here with the tools and support to help you move forward with confidence. Busey Bank, your partner for life's moments, both big and small. Member FDIC.
When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
You know the face, now hear the stories. Actor Nick Searcy from Justified and Castaway joins Tony Katz for one night only, August 23rd, to talk about how Hollywood and Washington, D.C. led him to the heartland. Tickets at WIBC.com. Presented in part by Premier Arms.
So there's a big settlement in the Dominion voting systems defamation case. Newsmax, Politico reporting this, amongst others, that Newsmax reached a $67 million settlement with Dominion. Now, this was over the false election claims that were made. Fox News had that massive settlement of $787 million in 2023. And it looks like this payment is going to be 3 payments. $27 million was paid this year, and then 2 $20 million payments in 26 and 27. Despite that, you got to be careful about what you say on the air. The other part of this is, Jerry, I think there was a horrible strategy from Trump's orbit in the wake of what was going on in 2020 by going after too much stuff and not focusing on the thing that was at hand that everybody could see, which is when you have mass mail-in unaccountable voting, where you're just literally mailing ballots out to people and you have no idea who fills them out or who returns them, that really sets you up for potential election fraud rather than focusing on these voting machines that apparently they couldn't prove.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about ballot harvesting, or you saw the little drop boxes and people would roll up and drop off 200, 300, 500 ballots, that would have been great to focus on. I thought this was going to be a thing. They were full court press, Dominion's flipping votes, Dominion's doing this, Dominion's doing that, and it looks like Dominion took everybody to the cleaner.
They're doing very well.
I mean, the My Pillow guy got swallowed up in this.
The attorneys are probably
Right.
doing very well, but again, one of the when you got Rudy Giuliani on TV with hair dye going down the side of his face,
Right.
and it's like you should have focused on the thing that everybody can get their head around, which is hey, if you don't control the voting process, and by control, I mean you know who's voting, you know it's that person, they show an ID, they show up to vote, even if it's a mail-in, there's like Indiana has a process. If you want to vote by mail, it involves your ID, etc. That's what the normal people can understand. And when all this stuff they were saying about Dominion, it was just like, even if it had turned out to be true, just eyes glaze over because it's too complex and it's doing this and it's doing that. And it's like the average person is not going to understand that. And in the process of focusing on these voting machines, they took where people should have been paying attention to, which is you've got to fix the mail-in unaccountable voting in these states. And look, you return to a more normal voting process in 2024 compared to 2020. But
we haven't changed the ballot harvesting. We haven't changed the no voter ID. Like, what have we rectified? Nothing.
You still need major changes in a lot of these swing states that have not happened.
So when it's not a Trump, will it still work out?
All right, let's take a break. By the way, so we have a shorter segment this segment. So Hammer's going to join us at 11:15. When we come back, we'll get back into the election changing that's being proposed here in the state of Indiana. Everybody should be very, very, very upset about this. We'll talk about it more and about how our lawmakers are liars and getting bullied. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
So do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years.
All right, here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. Now that's $240,000. That $240,000 could earn 10% or $24,000 in the first year. So by year end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the details by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120. We trust Bill, and you can too. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Summer's not over yet. Shouldn't you be out on the water? Today is the day to get the boat you've been dreaming of. It's the 2025 Model Year Blowout Sale going on now only at Just Add Water Boats. Save big on 2025 boats and wave runners from in-stock brands like Yamaha, Chaparral, Hurricane, Godfrey, Crest Pontoons, and more. Don't wait another year to get out on the water. Start making waves today at the 2025 Model Year Blowout Sale going on now at Just Add Water Boats. See the inventory now at justaddwaterboats.com.
Have you tried Wings Etc's new ranch fire sauce? House-made ranch with a fiery kiss of fresh ground habanero peppers and garlic. New ranch fire on our hand-breaded chicken sandwich? Big flavor. On a jalapeno bacon burger? Big flavor. On anything, wings, fries, pretzel bites? Big flavor. When you want to dance with spicy ranch, come to the folks who've been flying the big flavor flag since 1994. Wings Etc. We got your big flavor right here. Visit wingsetc.com.
It's Pet Appreciation Month at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms cleaned for $129, 15% off the pet odor treatments, $50 off air duct cleaning. ZeroResIndy.com.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 50% off plus a free patio door.
Because at
B-Window, we mean business.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, how Governor Braun is feeling this week about possibly changing the state's voting maps, what an Indiana woman did to get action from U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, a major shakeup in local media, who's agreed to buy who, what Indigo is proposing in their budget for next year, and have the Colts made a decision on their Week 1 starter at quarterback. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He says maybe this is how he can get into heaven one day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
If I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed.
President Trump on Fox and Friends on his push to stop the war in Ukraine, trying to broker direct talks between Presidents Putin and Zelensky.
If it works out, then I'll go to the trilat and close it up.
Hoping to join both leaders signing a peace agreement that would be backed by a security guarantee involving European countries.
When it comes to security, they're willing to put people on the ground. We're willing to help them with things, especially probably if you talk about by air, because nobody has the kind of stuff we have.
Attorney General Pam Bondi announced in a post on X this morning another 52 arrests in the Trump crackdown on Washington, D.C. crime. So in total, Fox's David Spunt reports.
More than 465 people have been arrested, over 65 guns, illegal guns taken off the street. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who says she's working with Bondi on all of this, was quick to point out this is not a takeover in her mind.
There is no takeover. What there is a surge in federal law enforcement.
And the mayor says D.C. police remain under city command and violent crime is down this year and last. Republicans in the Texas legislature could vote as soon as tomorrow to approve the congressional redistricting that Democrats blocked for 2 weeks, leaving the state. But they've returned satisfied that California is ready to counter the Texas plan that would give Republicans 5 more House seats in next year's elections. And now to Fox's Claudia Cowan in Sacramento.
With a Democratic supermajority here at the Capitol, Republicans cannot stop the package, but on the Senate side, they forced hours of debate last night to try to delay final passage of the measure that includes a temporary map and a special election aimed at flipping 5 Republican House seats.
Now, Republicans threaten lawsuits to block California Democrats whose plan would circumvent a citizen redistricting commission. On Wall Street, a new record high for the Dow. It's currently up 90 points, but the NASDAQ is down 250. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Hearing more calls to do it. Mostly cloudy skies, it's 82 in the Circle City. The high 88 today. A chance of thunderstorms around or after 4 o'clock today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The idea of redistricting Indiana's congressional map still on the mind of the governor.
I think when it comes to all of this, the climate's hot across the country. And here, whether it goes through or not, we'll see. Yes, there will be political pressure put on, and it will be cranked up.
Indiana Governor Mike Braun spoke to reporters Monday at the State House. The pressure is picked up from the Trump administration and Republican leaders on red states like Indiana, Texas, Ohio, and Missouri to redraw their maps and pick up more seats for Republicans. Governor Braun said he may call a special session to address the issue. A 50-year-old Lafayette woman is arrested for threatening President Trump's life on social media.
She continued to call the president a terrorist and was working to have him eliminated. She is now in custody. She will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Make no mistake about that.
That's U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro announcing the arrest of Nathalie Rose Jones. Pirro said Jones was traveling from New York to D.C. and made threats to Facebook and Instagram. The U.S. Secret Service is now investigating. Nexstar, which owns Fox 59 and CBS 4, is set to buy WTHR's parent company, Tegna, for $6.2 billion.
If it goes through, all 3 of Indianapolis's major TV stations would be under the same company. The FCC still needs to approve the merger, but Nexstar says the move could help local stations reach more people, share news across multiple platforms, and continue strong coverage on stories that matter to Hoosiers. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indigo is proposing a $432 million budget for 2026, marking a major increase in spending. The budget's main focus is the construction of the Blue Line and a new bus garage. The plan also includes purchasing 28 new buses and increasing security on buses at transit centers. And just announced in the last 15 minutes, the Colts have named Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins over Anthony Richardson. The season opener is Sunday, September 7th at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills, They save that for the quality of the meal, like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers and Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, we'll talk about these rotten, lying, horrible Republicans here in just a second. But first, there's breaking news. They touched on Jarrett Lewis touched on at the top of the hour. There is now a declared winner in the starter battle for the Indianapolis Colts. And boy, howdy, Jerry, if I'd have been a betting man on this, I'd have been wrong. They are going with Daniel Jones to start the season. Daniel Jones with a career record of what is this? What is his career record here? He's something and one, like it's 45, 70 and one or something like that. It's
I think he said 25, 45 and one. Or
is that right?
Like that.
I mean, yeah, there it is. 25, 45 and one.
The Giants sucked though. Let's get a little bit.
Yeah, but you are your quarterback. I mean, if he'd have been some sort of golden boy.
But we did like him when he was coming out. I think he went to Duke and he was working with Peyton Manning and he didn't do anything for the Giants at all.
You see my point?
Yeah.
I mean, so how look, we don't do a lot of sports on this show, but we do, one, when there's breaking news that affects the city, but also, two, when it sort of affects society. And what the Colts do affects society because we're all, by force, tied into that stupid stadium that we have to pay for because we got tax increases in order to pay for it. And when you are pinning your hopes on a guy whose lifetime accomplishments in the league, by the way, he's been in the league, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years now, so he's not a spring chicken. When he's 24, 45 and 1, what does that say about what the Colts actually thought of Anthony Richardson?
Well, Anthony Richardson can't finish the season yet. So let's see him finish the season first, and then we'll see what's going on. You got to be on the field to make a difference.
Well, this is fascinating because I think people like me thought, okay, they've invested so much in him that you've got to let him fail one more time to declare, okay, 3 strikes and you're out. But apparently whatever they saw, they felt was so bad that they didn't even want to give him an opportunity to fail.
Or maybe they just didn't want to put him out there, and then you suck, and then we put in Danny Dimes, and then now we've ruined this second, third-year kid.
But he's already ruined.
I don't think so.
You're trying to.
He's only played like 12 games his whole life.
No, he's played.
In college, it was like 12 games.
I think he's played like 17 games.
That's what I'm saying. His whole college career.
No, in the pros. But he stinks. I mean, you got to admit that, because what are you going to do now? You're going to start Jones. What if he's not very good? Then you put Richardson in.
I think you're spoiled, Rob. I think you're spoiled.
I'm a Bears fan. Tell me how spoiled I am.
Well, you don't even listen. You have no right to talk about my quarterback. My quarterback, look, doesn't paint his fingernails. Good enough. Deal with that.
But it is a sticking indictment of the guy, though, that on year 3, you don't think he can go out and start the season.
So what if the question is, will he win too many games?
Oh, you think that's
what
the problem?
if we want to suck for Archie Manning?
I see what you're saying.
Suck for Arch.
You think they're already in tank mode before the season's even begun?
Well, Archie Manning is the number 1 quarterback coming
You don't even know if Archie Manning can play football.
He has a Manning in his name. The boy can play. I promise you that boy can play.
Hammer and I had this conversation on the sports betting show a couple weeks ago that everybody, he's the presumptive front runner for the Heisman. Nobody even knows this dude can play. Nobody even knows if Archie Manning's any good. We'll find out. I think that's a hell of a risk to say we're going to tank the whole season for some guy we don't even know if he can play.
We tanked the whole season for luck, and then he quit like 4 years later.
What a depressing, like you're just sort of taking the air out of the whole season because you know if Daniel Jones is your quarterback, you're a 9-8 team, best case scenario.
That's fair, but I think it's a little pompous of you to criticize my team considering your team doesn't even play in the playoffs, ever. Never. You went to the Super Bowl. How'd that work out, Rob?
We won the Super Bowl.
How'd that work out when you played us?
We won the Super Bowl.
When you played us.
The greatest team of all time.
You had Rex Grossman as your quarterback, and then we beat you in Miami.
I mean, you're fired up about Daniel Jones starting the season with him as the quarterback?
Listen, this is the first year I'm not doing fantasy football because I'm just over it. I just don't care anymore.
Oh, you normally were a fantasy football player.
I just don't care anymore. It's hard to get exciting for a team that's mediocre.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is you're basically
and he doesn't make us any better, any worse.
Right. I think you're basically a 9-8 or 8-9 team, which is what you were last year.
Yeah.
With that guy as your quarterback. And look, I'm financially invested in the Colts, so I want them to do well because they're taking my money. But
$2
wouldn't matter if it was 9 cents. It's the premise of them taking the money. I think that's sort of a giant pop the balloon, right, for your fan base before the season even begins. Because, and by the way, this would not be happening if the old man were still alive. There's no way if Jim Irsay was still alive that they would not let Anthony Richardson start the season, which it does perhaps show that the Daughters Incorporated, maybe flexing some muscle already, saying, look, this guy stinks. We can't run him out there. We're not even going to subject ourselves to it. Let's try to win as many games as we can.
Yeah. But you never know how it works out. Look, Darnold over in Minnesota got a second chance from Carolina, and all of a sudden the kid's a beast.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with your season.
We'll need it.
All right. You told me something. Hammer's going to join us next. So
are you really going to bring this up, dude?
Yeah, I am. Because I think Hammer wants to get into the redistricting stuff, so I'll save it for
this
that.
Is stupid.
You told me something that blew my mind.
Yeah.
You don't know the ages of your siblings.
Not the exact ages, no.
Because you were talking about your sister.
Yeah,
because she gave you tickets to the Colts game last week.
Saturday, yeah.
And they're very nice seats. And I said, she must do something fabulous to afford those.
She works in the medical field, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, how old is your sister?
I was like, 34, 35-ish.
Yeah. You were like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy. Did I hear a niner in there?
Yeah, I got a younger brother, too. I think he's 40-ish.
Yeah, so you didn't know his age either.
And that's 100% honest. I'm not playing around. I think he's 40-ish, and I think my sister's got to be like 9 years younger than me, so let's go with 34, 35.
I almost fell out of my chair that you don't know the ages of the people that you grew up with in your house. Because you think you would know how old they are when you're a kid, and you would just keep adding 1 year to their age. And that
yeah, but when I left for the service, I was 18. My sister was 9. So, we didn't really grow up like that. But, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but if you know she's 9 and then she had another birthday, you know their birthdays.
Yeah.
You do know their birthdays.
I know the birthdays.
So you just weren't capable.
Yeah, my sister, October 26th, my brother, July 9th.
Tacking another year on each year. You just weren't capable of mentally doing that?
I don't text them and say, hey, happy 37th birthday. I just say, happy birthday, bro.
Yeah. Kev, I think this is bad sibling etiquette. No, I didn't have any siblings growing up.
So how would you, once again, you have no idea what you're talking about, kind of like the quarterback.
I have no idea of the hardship you endured growing up. Kev, you have siblings.
I was a contractor, Rob.
Thanks for your service.
Yeah, I've got one older brother. I know his birth year and his age. He's 33.
I would think any sort of decent human would know exactly how old the people that they grew up with in their houses.
Shots fired.
All right, let's take a break. Hammer wants to join us. I know let's get into the redistricting thing and a lot of other joy that he will bring. We have a very special guest, by the way, coming up at 11:30 too. So a lot to get to this hour. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
From red carpets to red states, actor Nick Searcy has seen it all. He starred in the FX TV show Justified and movies like The Fugitive and Castaway. But what he saw in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. changed everything. He'll join Tony Katz for one night of unfiltered stories, sharp insight, and a little bourbon on the side. From Hollywood to the heartland. Saturday, August 23rd at West Fork Whiskey Company. Brought to you by Premier Arms and Boer Remodeling. Tickets on sale now at WIPC.com.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Shop incredible end-of-summer savings at the Scandinavian Designs Labor Day sale. For a limited time, take up to 70% off select modern furniture and decor for every room in your home, including living room, bedroom, dining room, and more. This is the perfect opportunity to get your space prepped for the party season ahead. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home.
Well, you called it a couple years ago when they took Richardson because you watch a lot of SEC football. Jason Hammer from the Hammer and Nigel Show joins us now. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. My name is Rob. You said this guy stinks.
He can't throw. Like, great physical specimen, man. He's a big, strong dude. But I've seen this movie before. Big, strong guy, cannon of an arm, can't make the throws to move the chains, can't read a defense, can't hit a receiver when it's 3rd and 5. As a Tennessee Vol fan, I have watched a lot of SEC football, and honestly, Anthony Richardson and Joe Milton, who was the Tennessee quarterback for about a year and a half, same guy. Bazooka arm, and all the scouts, they foam at the mouth. Look how strong his arm is. Great. For the few times a game he could chuck it down the field to, Alec Pierce, that's great. But the rest of the game, he stinks. And at the end of every game, when you've got one of these dudes that can't read a defense and can't make the basic throws, you're going to have 13 points on the scoreboard. Your quarterback's going to have a passing percentage of about 40%, and you're going to get beat.
Kind of depressing if you're a Colts fan to know you're a 9-8 at best team, though. I mean, that's what they're basically saying. We're a 9-8 team.
At best. The reason that's even a possibility is the whole division stinks.
What'd you say? The AFC South is ass?
The AFC South is ass. Again, on our gambling show, The Degenerates Next Door, which you can follow on Twitter at Gambling Stuff. Please follow us. We need some more Twitter folks over there.
I chose a horrible name for that.
I changed it.
Thank you.
You're
Hammer
welcome.
took control of all the stuff for the show.
At Gambling Stuff, okay? You look at the top 6 or 7 odds to have the worst record in the league this year. 3 out of the 4 are from the AFC South.
And that includes us.
Yes.
So at least 4 of those games we should win.
Right. Now, if you're looking to tank for the draft, and I can't believe we're already talking about this, the Saints are on the clock.
Yeah. They may not win a game.
They're going to be awful. And if, it's a big if, the Manning kid comes out, and he's good, that's where the Saints are going to go, right? New Orleans, Manning, the story writes itself. For the Colts, you need a couple things to happen to get the second best quarterback of the draft, which I think is the LSU kid, Nussmeier. You need the Titans to be around that area because they won't pick a quarterback. They've got their quarterback. They just stink everywhere else. You need Shedeur Sanders to win that job from the Browns. I know they're starting Flacco, but feels like they're kind of grooming the Sanders kid. You need him to be good so the Browns don't draft a quarterback. Feels like the Giants feel good about their quarterback situation. They're going to ride the bike of Russell Wilson for a year, but the Dart kid looks really good so far. If you're the Colts, you're in the mix with the Raiders on teams that are going to need a quarterback, and they're going to be very bad too. So I don't know, man. But it feels like all these arguments we're having right now, I can't believe they're starting Jones, Anthony Richardson this. The argument could be the same either way. If they would have announced we're starting Richardson, the conversation would be, I guess the ceiling is just 8-9 wins. They're the same dude.
I mean, to go from Peyton Manning, who was Mr. Played every game, didn't miss anything, to Andrew Luck, and we expected that. We've been looking for a quarterback to lead this team, it seems like, for the past 10 years.
The Luck situation put the franchise back years, and they tried to do the Band-Aid thing, and the only one that worked kind of was Phillip Rivers. At least he got the Colts to the playoffs, and they were competitive in a playoff game. But all the other old dudes they brought in, between Matt Ryan,
double leg brace Carson.
Carson Wentz wasn't as old as those dudes, but was coming off some injuries. It's been a mess, man. But I will say, I'm excited for the Carly Ursay era. I felt like the old man maybe been a little too loyal to some people. Right? So, hey, Carly Ursay, the floor is yours. You're the captain now, right? We're Captain Phillips. And has there ever been a bigger dead man walking than Chris Ballard right now? You took the number 4 pick in the draft, and he couldn't beat out Daniel Jones.
Okay, you also are very excited that Charlie Kirk is bullying our lawmakers.
I am, and here's why. And I've been hearing you guys just freak out all afternoon. Like, Rob all afternoon has been like in the movie Billy Madison when Chris Farley was the bus driver. I'll turn this thing around. Like, veins are sticking out of his neck. Listen, everything's not perfect, right? But
are you gaining weight? That chair is so squeaky.
I know it is. Well,
do you want
everything
this
around here.
I'll just stand up.
You're
want
supposed
this
to stand up.
It's
but that's
very
okay.
distracting, and I want to hear what you have to say, but that is just ridiculous.
But he led with, are you gaining weight?
I know. It's what little people do when they are scared.
There we go.
But here, I've been listening to the bus driver
so
over
much
here.
better. That's so much better. Thank
you. I'm surprised it wasn't the microphone. But listen, okay, Charlie Kirk. He doesn't care about Indiana. I get that, and I will meet you on that. But I want you to meet me halfway on something. Anybody that has that many social media followers that can remind people about what a zero Rod Bray is, you have to admit that's all right. Because there's no bigger zero. There's no bigger butt sniffer in the state of Indiana than the dude that's in charge of our Senate, Rod Bray. He's the one that thought you guys wanting property tax relief was just a ridiculous thing. We went to the State House. We had the rally, and people were chanting, "Where is Rod? Where is Rod?" And you know what he was doing? Having a birthday party and getting mad at Andrew Ireland because he showed up wearing green on St. Patrick's Day, and his last name is Ireland.
Remember they had a mariachi band?
Yeah. I mean, this dude is one of the great zeros of all time. Just a total establishment squish. So meet me halfway here. Anybody that can point out, whether it's a national level, local level, with that level of followers, to let everybody know that Rod Bray is a walking goon, a total eunuch, that's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah, but he didn't say that. If he'd have said Rod Bray is a walking goon, I would have shared it. I would have supported.
But he talks about the leadership, right? And that's who the leadership in Indiana is. It's the Senate
I
leader.
mean, the Indiana leadership's also got the Laura Loomer earlier this year where she went after Todd Houston.
I mean,
they're starting to get attention. I don't know where.
Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, Todd Houston, Rod Bray, same picture, same person.
But why didn't he do it for something that actually mattered? Like
I don't know why he didn't do it for that, but he's doing it for this. He's doing it right now. Are you not okay with people looking at the leadership of the state of Indiana, which are Republicans, and I know you hate them, Rob, because we've been talking about it nonstop for 3 days. Don't you want people to say Rod Bray stinks?
Yeah, but he does not saying Rod Bray stinks.
Yes, but
he's not saying Rod Bray stinks.
Are you not entertained?
If he had made a post that says Rod Bray is a walking goon and he stinks, I would have pinned it to my profile.
So when he says, and I don't have the exact quote in front of me, the leadership in Indiana, That's who we're talking about, right? He's the leader of the Senate of Indiana. Is that not good enough for you?
Okay, but he just wants it to so he can.
Oh, come on, Rob. You're so full of crap. This guy's a total zero. A total
Yeah, of
zero.
course. I do an entire show on it. What do you want?
You're going to sit here and say, well, Charlie Kirk's being mean to Rod Bray. Stop it. Who are you? What happened to the Rob Kendall that used to say anybody that's against property taxes is a eunuch? Here's a guy that's doing that, and now you're mad about it.
But he's not doing that.
Get him,
He's
Hammer.
not-
Get him, Hammer.
He's not doing it
Oh,
about property
bull
tax.
crap.
He's not doing it about the gas tax. He's not doing it about
You've
the,
turned
about
into
the,
Keith Olbermann. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's what this show has become. You're going to rant and rave about Republicans until somebody that's a Republican does it, and now you're mad about it.
What are you doing this afternoon other than making fun of me?
Yikes.
What's going on?
Hey, I'll make fun of Rod Bray. Maybe you won't be mad at me, Rob. You wiener. Jeff Boggs is going to come by, and we're going to make him give away Luke Bryan tickets.
Oh, how exciting! How stinking exciting!
Because he loves Luke Bryan, and we've got tickets to give away. So we're going to make not Kenny Rogers do that.
Will your former producer Mega Mondo be calling in? You know, he does the greatest Luke Bryan impersonation.
We've got something planned later in the week for that.
Okay,
a little
very
teaser
good.
for you.
All right, we'll take a break. So when we come back, we got a super special guest. You've heard me mention this person many times on our show before. My dear friend Troy Kennett. He has, for the past 20 years, been the keyboard player for John Mellencamp.
Cool.
And when we come back, he still likes me, even though you don't. We're going to talk about...
Maybe you and Rod Bray can get some Thunderwear on together and have a conversation with him. Light a bonfire.
We're going to talk about 20 years on the road with one of rock's most famous musicians. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with a free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Struggling to maintain contact with the professional world.
Dr. Ferner of Indianapolis talks about why he got the new caption phone from Relay Indiana.
When I got the phone, it turned it around.
Go to RelayIndiana.com. That's RelayIndiana.com. And read up on the caption phone.
People that I talk with do not necessarily know that I have this service. It's a piece of cake.
Go to RelayIndiana.com to learn more.
Everyone knows that PA Jewelers in Brownsburg is the place to get one-of-a-kind jewelry pieces. Diamonds, gold, gemstones, watches, everything. But PA Jewelers at the farmhouse is also the place to sell your jewelry, your watches, your coins, or bullion. PA Jewelers has the best prices and the best payouts. And they walk you through the process so you know what your pieces are worth and what you're getting. PA Jewelers at the farmhouse, 3750 South Green Street in Brownsburg, or online at pajewelers.jewelry. That's pajewelers.jewelry.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The kids are heading back to school, and let's be honest, you're finally getting the house to yourself again, which makes now the perfect time to take care of that roof, siding, or gutters you've been putting off. And Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss Roofing has been helping Central Indiana homeowners for 34 years. They're family-owned, locally rooted, and known for doing things right every shingle time. Free inspections, honest advice, and top-quality work on roofing, siding, gutters, and windows. They treat your home like it's their own, and they clean up like they were never there. That's why they've got great reviews and a loyal following of happy homeowners. So don't put it off any longer. Let Moss Roofing check your roof, your siding, and your gutters to make sure they're ready for the winter ahead. For your free inspection, call 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 747-3665, or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Threatening the president. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's 11:30. This report is brought to you by Moss Roofing. A woman from Lafayette, Indiana is charged with making death threats towards President Trump.
I just wanted to let you know here from the United States Attorney's Office in D.C. that an individual by the name of Nathalie Rose Jones is now in custody.
U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro announced the charges against Jones Monday. Nexstar Media Group, which owns Fox 59 and CBS 4, is set to buy Tegna, the company that owns WTHR in Indianapolis, as part of a $6.2 billion deal announced today. An undercover operation in Boone County returns the arrests of 5 men attempting to meet up with young kids for sexual activity. Multiple agencies work together on the sting. And Indigo is out with a new proposed $432 million budget for 2026. If approved, the cost of a single ride would increase by $1. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is $0 and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year, or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Say that's all right. Hold tight. But I don't even know if I'm doing this right. Well, all right.
He spent 2 decades playing with the Hoosier legend. Let's hear the story. 93 WIBC, it's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez is in for Casey. Oh, my gosh, I'm so excited about this next segment. He is a dear friend of mine. And for basically the past 20 years, he's been hitting the road with John Mellencamp, keyboard player for John Mellencamp, and local indie music legend Troy Kennett joins us now. Troy, hello.
Hey, Rob.
You've been, what, like almost 20 years now? You've been playing.
20? It's coming up on 20 years. Yeah.
How does that even happen? Like, how do you, because you have toured the world with John, you've recorded with John. Like, how do you get to be John Mellencamp's keyboard player?
Yeah. I think I just worked around town long enough that I finally was around when there was an opening.
Because you're a local guy.
Yeah. I grew up in Muncie, and I've been here since the late 80s when I moved to Indy, and did session work with the drummer and the bass player that have been in John's band forever. Actually did one album with his guitar players, Mike Wanchuk and Andy York. We worked on a Jimmy Reiser record together. So I'd pretty much worked with everybody in the band at some point or another, but it was mainly from doing session work at like Gaither Studios. When I did production music, I would bring Dane Clark in to play on something that I wrote. And then it was his recommendation to get me in. It was the fall of 2005.
That's exactly how I got this show. I just hung around long enough.
Yeah.
And then finally somebody was like, well, just give it to Kendall. He won't screw it up too bad, right? So, like, what is that like? Does John call you? How do you get asked to be in the band?
Well, when I got the call, it was to do some recording for the Ghost Brothers of Darkland County. It was a musical he was working on with Stephen King at the time. And his keyboard player lived in Austin and had his solo career and something going on, so they just needed me to come in and record for 4 days. I got the call on a Thursday afternoon to be there on Monday morning. The problem with that is that my brother and I were planning a weekend trip to New Orleans to move our grandparents back to Muncie that were living there and just endured Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita.
Oh, wow.
So we were leaving the next day to go to New Orleans, and I hadn't really been playing my accordion a whole lot.
Yeah.
And at the time, the instrumentation they had for that musical were 2 guitars, violin, and accordion.
So is it like with music, like, do you have to warm up? Do you have to practice? Is it like golf where you got to play the course a couple times? You can't just like step up and go?
I mean, not like a singer really has to warm up their voice. It's not so much with playing keyboards. I mean, it's good to warm up. But playing accordion, it was just one of those things that, it's a workout.
Because keys, you do everything. Like at one point at Farm Aid, you were like a Dick Van Dyke character where you were playing a pedal drum and an accordion.
Oh, right.
I mean, you have to do like piano, all of these different things you have to know how to do.
In that case, yes, it was definitely John that called and had the idea for me to do that. I never dreamed of playing bass drum and accordion at the same time, but I figured it out.
Yeah,
I had enough notice that I could hole up in my basement for like 3 weeks and stand on one foot.
Troy Kennett is our guest. He is the keyboard player, longtime indie musician. He's a keyboard player for John Mellencamp, been with him for 20 years. And so, like, you go and it's like, hello, Mr. Mellencamp. Hello, John. Like, how does that work?
Well, it went really well. I'll have to say, I was ready. I practiced in the back of my brother's truck as he drove down there, and he had to endure that.
That's so wild. So, like, you're practicing on your way to New Orleans.
I had to do it. I had like 14 songs I had to learn on. And so I was ready for Monday morning, and I'll have to say, it just went really well. And 6 months later, there was an opening.
Do you act, I mean, I assume you have to act like you've been there, right? Kind of like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. I'm here with John Mellencamp. You got to act like, okay, we're just here doing some music.
You know what? With him, I had in the early '90s, I worked at TRC Studios as an entry-level writer producer. John Casella was the main writer there, so I knew him. I always thought that maybe I would get this job. I thought that this is the job I should be doing. I think I'm a good fit for the band. So
you saw it in your mind.
Yeah, I knew it's like I belong here. When I was, as soon as I was recording with at Belmont, there've been a lot of other situations where I've been really intimidated. That was one. For some reason, I just felt like I am ready for this.
Is it like The Bachelor where they give you the rose, or hey, you're in the band? Like, how do you? I mean,
no, actually, and you know what? Part of it maybe is that it wasn't an audition. It was just recording.
Yeah.
He clearly had another keyboard player that had been touring with him, and this was just, you're just here to do a job and play for the session. Well, it went really well. We hit it off, and then so when there was an opening, I was a no-brainer. They just called me, and I was in.
Troy Kennett is our guest. He's the keyboard player for John Mellencamp. How does that change your life? I mean, you are a very well-known, like you said, session musician. You played with all sorts of bands. Like I tell people we're friends and people who have been around the indie music scene for a long time, and they tell these incredible stories about you in the 80s and 90s, not to date you, but like, how does that change your life to then be on tour, to be recording with a John Mellencamp, because you have many jobs in music outside of just doing that?
Right. I think, he's probably doesn't tour as much as some bands that are out there. So I was always able to keep my other things going. I played a church gig at the time. I kept that going like 40 weeks a year, maybe.
That's so crazy. Hey, look at our talent. Right. You may know him from Mellencamp.
And session work, I've got a little mobile rig. I can do tracks if I've got 2 days off in a hotel room. It's good to have a project to work on.
Yeah.
It's good. And so I can do that. Everybody in the band has got something like that they can.
Do you get impressed by musicians anymore? Like,
oh my gosh, yes. there's so many multi-talented, multi-instrumentalists
Yeah.
that I meet nowadays. It seems like I just met Kevin. I bet he plays guitar too.
Producer
Or
Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and look at what he does in there. So, but yeah, that's the new thing, I think, is that what I'm realizing with a lot of young players is that they can play a lot of instruments.
And that's probably changed a lot because of the way, I mean, there are record companies, but it's like the way things get produced and made now, people can make them in their own home. So if you can learn how to do the more stuff you can learn how to do, the easier it is for you.
Right.
Yeah. So you've toured, like it's so cool. I live vicariously through you every time you're out on a tour. And like, you toured with Bob Dylan one time.
Yeah, we did a tour. It was of minor league ballparks. Actually, Willie Nelson was on that one year. The next year, it was just Bob and John. And then there was the Dough Rollers, I think, were the opening band. But yeah,
and this was so cool because you guys actually
incredible.
went to like minor league, the stadiums and had the concerts in the stadiums.
Right. And last year, we did the Outlaw Tour, Willie Nelson's Outlaw Tour, and Bob was on that. So
What was that like?
Oh, my gosh. It was incredible.
Because you're a big fan, aren't you?
Yeah, and Willie, too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Willie at so many Farm Aids, but to see him from the side of the stage do his thing, and he's like 92 years old, that was a blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Troy Kennett's our guest. He's the keyboard player for John Mellencamp, legendary indie musician. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, on multiple occasions now, I think you've played with Bruce, right?
A couple times. That's right. We did he was on the record, Strictly a One-Eyed Jack, in 2021.
Wasted Days.
Yes.
Now, I hope you don't mind me telling this story, but you did your part before he came in with John, right? Like,
yes.
I don't mean to, if I'm doing some big reveal here, but when they put albums together, everybody kind of does their part, and then it gets put together and becomes an album, right?
Right. The band did our thing, and then it might have been a couple months later, I don't know, when Bruce came there and did his vocals, did some guitar. So I wasn't there at the time.
Yeah. Did you know it? Did you know he was coming in?
Yes.
Oh,
because
you did?
I got
because you told me.
An insider said, "Hey, he's digging your piano."
Yeah. That's what you said. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But you played with him on stage with John too.
Yeah, he did there's a fundraiser he does called Stand Up for Heroes, and he got it. We play a small combo, violinist, guitarist, John and me did that, and Bruce got up and did a song with us. It was a couple of years later, so that's when I finally got to meet him. And then when we were on tour last year, played Pink Houses, we were in New Jersey, he got up and did that with us.
What's the etiquette when you meet? Because, as a fan, obviously, I was fortunate enough to win some sort of lottery where I got to meet Bruce for a minute, but you're a fan, right? Is there some sort of musician etiquette when you meet other musicians?
I would say so, yeah, kind of unwritten. We did a sound check, and I just stayed in my place and just kept, we just sound checked, and it wasn't any big deal. The vocals are good. Can you hear Bruce? And it was all that.
Yeah.
But then when we were done, I kind of hovered for maybe a minute on the stage, and he was still there. So I walked over and said, it's fine. Great to finally meet you after doing this recording. And I thought we'd finally do a show sometime.
Troy Kennett's our guest. He's the keyboard player for John Mellencamp. Who inspired you? Because
Stevie Wonder, Elton
really?
John. Yeah, I grew up in the music of the early 70s. I think Talking Book was my first 8-track.
Did you say, I want to be that guy, or I want to be like that guy? Well, no, like with Elton John, the Honky Chateau album, I played the heck out of that, but I think I never saw myself as being the artist. Yeah.
But I always just wanted to be the piano player.
Yeah. What's couple minutes that we have left here with you? These are all things I've wanted to ask. I've been at Troy for years to come in and do this, and so this is great for me. What's it like home life? Because obviously your son is grown now, but I'm curious, 20 years ago he wasn't, and I'm curious how you were able to balance that, especially with your wife, et cetera.
Well, I started touring when he was 6, 7 years old, and the way it went is that, I wasn't able to see him for weeks at a time, but then when I was home, I was with him every day.
Yeah.
I would take him to school. I would pick him up.
Yeah.
We would, so weekends, I was there a lot. Now, there was a period of time, I guess before that, I did, it was tougher. You know, I would get to see him for an hour before he went to bed, before I went and played shows at Beef and Board.
Sure.
Or I would be home with him during the day. And then, but once I started playing with John, it was great, but at times a roller coaster ride.
Do you still, you still love doing music, right? Like, it's not a job to you. You still love this.
Yeah, I mean, it has its good and bad days like any other job, but, we made the best of it with, remember Skype?
Yeah.
Sam would be swimming at a swim meet, and I would be in Canada on Skype going, go, Sam!
Yeah.
And then it would cut out, and, it's like that everybody has to, I guess, parents go through that. They could be across town and still doing it.
So we talk to 50,000 people a day, but I don't see anybody. Like, I see you, I'll see Jerry, I see Kevin. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't have to look at people. You have to go out in front of the people. Like, I would be mortified to be in front of that many people. If somebody said there's 50,000 people. Do you see the people? Do you notice them? Is it a big deal?
It's really hard to. When there are people I know, brothers there or whoever, and I know where they're sitting, I can never find them during the show.
Yeah.
And I don't try too hard, but I'll look out there in the general area where I know they should be sitting, and it's always hard to find. But then if they're really close, you see some faces, but for the most part, you're pretty far removed from, most of the people.
If you'd have told yourself when you were like in the 80s, early 90s, when you were grinding, like, I'm going to end up with Mellencamp, would you have ever believed that? But
yeah. I mean, I always thought I would be doing this with somebody at this level. It just took me a long time.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. And you're such a good dude, and I'm so glad we were able to do this because local music, I do fear for local music, like the future, right? Because the way record contracts work or don't work now, and you're one of those guys that can tell that success story. Like, you did all these cool things locally. You're an Indiana guy, and then you end up getting to do this really amazing thing later on in your career.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah. Troy, thanks for being with us today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show, Jeff Boggs, former Letterman writer, will join us in studio, and he's going to help us give away tickets to see Luke Bryan in concert. Let's go!
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Hey guys, it's Rob. Earlier on in the program, we had our friends from Life Church on talking about their big Project Rescue breakfast at the Lucas Estates coming up in September to help fight human sex trafficking across the globe. And another big thing Life Church has coming up in September is their Alpha course. This is awesome. They do this every year. It's a 9-week class, Monday nights, starting September 15th. And it's an opportunity for you to ask whatever questions you have about God, about the Bible. No question is off the table. People have been through this course over the years, and they are blown away by it. If you would like to be a part of it, and I highly suggest everybody check it out, you can text ALPHA, A-L-P-H-A, to 317-961-8330. That's ALPHA to 317-961-8330. The Alpha course starting Monday night, September 15th with Life Church. Learn more at lifechurchin.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X-Fi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
The Home and Garden Show will be live this Saturday from 9 to 1 at Nature Spire, Carmel's only plant boutique. Explore lush plants, stunning moss art, one-of-a-kind trinkets, bouquet bar blooms, and more. Enter to win the classic pumpkin package. Winner announced after the event. Must be present to win.
It's Kendall Casey Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. She'll be back tomorrow. Jerry Lopez in for Casey. Jerry, thank you, as always, for the outstanding job you do. And Casey can't be gracing us with her presence.
I appreciate it. I've had an absolute blast. 4 days in a row now?
That's right.
Did some double duty on Friday with the Tony Kinnett show. So been up here a lot, and it's always a great time to see everybody.
You know, it's funny. So I'm working on a little piece for WIBC.com Monday, this coming Monday. It will be the 50th anniversary of Born to Run, which is my all-time the album that really changed my life. And they thought, hey, well, that would be cool because music and Bruce Springsteen in particular, it's such a big part of our show, and we talk about these things so much. And they said, would it'd be cool if you did a little piece on that about what it's meant to you and other albums and talk about that. And one of the reoccurring themes of our show is my life is a constant struggle of the idealism of how things ought to be versus the harshness of how they are. And I think this redistricting thing, which was obviously the driver of the show today, and how these lawmakers are behaving on it, they're flip-flopping on it in some cases, like Craig Haggard. By the way, you done, Craig Haggard. You won't be able to get elected dog catcher by the time I'm done with you, much less ever end up in the Congress. When a guy like that just lies to you, and lies not just to me but to our audience, it is, again, another example of the direct collision of how things ought to be. There ought to be good and decent people who run our society, even if you don't agree with them. It ought to be people who are above reproach, who are there trying to do the right thing. And instead, the harshness of the reality of voting, of our system of governance, is that it is people who are constantly cutting corners. They're constantly putting themselves first. They're constantly looking out for what is best for them and for their political career, and they're looking out for you last. And this whole thing is another reminder of just how scummy, just how rotten and scummy so many of these people in elected office are.
I mean, it's a shame that they can show up here, show up to their constituents, say all the right things, but when pen comes to paper and it's time to make decisions, they just fall in line. They don't represent us. They represent, A, their own best interest. What can keep me getting reelected, keep the money coming in? And B, how do I become part of the club if I'm already not there? And that's what this is. This is Charlie Kirk going, are you going against the club?
Yeah, and in the case of someone like Craig Haggard, you lied. It's not that I disagree with you.
At least say, you know what, I agree with it, and then let's debate it but don't come on here and say we're not going to do it, and then turn around and say, yeah, we're going to 6 days later.
Yeah, he made these definitive statements, not just to me or our audience. He made it to numerous places. And the only logical reason is a guy like Craig Haggard is such a gutless, pathetic coward that he got bullied by some podcaster in Arizona. He got bullied by the White House. Well, if he can get bullied...
He's not even in. He's not even in yet.
He's been campaigning for a week. You think having Charlie Kirk as an enemy is bad, Craig? You ain't seen nothing yet. Because you know what? Charlie Kirk's going to forget about you when he gets his way in a few months. I'm going to be here until November of next year. Not that you're going to get to November of next year. But if you made your choice, buddy. You made your choice, which you get. By the way,
how can he rectify it? Can he come on here and talk to you about what happened, or no?
Yeah, tell me why you lied to my audience.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows how to
Even
get a
if
hold
he
of
had
me.
a change of mind. Look, I just had in 6 days.
He'd have a change of mind. He got bullied.
He's not going to show up and talk to you.
And he's going to learn the hard way, like other people have learned the hard way. Because I got the OCD, and I'm a pretty neurotic guy. And the worst thing you can do is lie to me. Why are we so hard on Dan? Because I know he's lying.
Yeah.
I know he's lying. There are people I disagree with all the time. All these Democrats, I know what they are, but they're honest about what they are, how they view things, and then reasonable people. But when somebody just lies right to your face, and they're all doing it in their own shape, form, or fashion. Look at Victoria Sparks and the nonsense about her. Maybe I'll just quit in the middle of my term, and then she's running for election again. Jefferson Shreve, I won't even vote for Trump, but now I'm totally subservient to him. All of these people are the reason, because they're all over the country. They're in every state legislature. They're in every city council. They're certainly making up our federal government. These spineless, gutless, dishonest, backstabbing weasels are making choices for everybody else. So I'm glad you were here for all this, Jerry.
Hey, tell us how you really feel, brother.
And in fairness, I did ask you if you wanted a measured approach today.
And you lived up to my expectations. Thank you.
Yeah, man, it was awesome having you the past 4 days. Thank you, buddy. All right, stick around. Kev, great job as always. Thank you to you, the listener. Without you, there is no us. Tony Katz, coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
So do you have more than $200,000 saved for retirement? You could put that money in the stock market, but you have no idea what will happen with it. Or you could make a smarter move and get a 20% upfront bonus and a competitive return that's averaged more than 10% annually over the last 10 years.
All right, here's the math. If you invest $200,000, you get an upfront $40,000 bonus. Now that's $240,000. That $240,000 could earn 10%, or $24,000 in the first year. So by year end, your original $200,000 could grow to $264,000. Get all the details by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, 317-648-5120. We trust Bill, and you can too. 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120.
Lanny